Guys, if you like Dragon Ball Hakai, today is the best day for you to subscribe to our Patreon. We started publishing about 3 pages a day of the next chapter of Dragon Ball Hakai. In addition, you will also have access to several other stories created by our team, including Dragon Ball Shinken. By collaborating with our Patreon, you help us keep Dragon Ball Hakai alive and have a lot of benefits. Become a member of our community too. The link is in the video description and in the pinned comment. I'm waiting for you there.
Fly to the limits, look out below and you will see the clouds beneath, way up high where no one has been. Break out your spirit, you know it's waiting to begin, so ride upon the wind. These guys come out of nowhere one by one. Their sights are set upon the land we love, and vibes are the cue for me. Fight, fight, fight. I'll guard the planet like a shield for a night. So no, I won't stop fighting till it's over. Won't run away. And you can bet that Earth will keep on turning. I'm making sure it's safe. Join in the face of my fists are sturdy in their faith. They'll never shake. Ain't nobody stopping their burn. Show what we're made of. I'll change the future with my nerves to one that we deserve for the world.
The Pirate King's ship sails across the great ocean, carrying Luffy, Zoro, and God Vegeta. Their destination, at Vegeta's request, is the world capital, where the evil angel Cognac is. The ship moves at a stupidly high speed thanks to Luffy, who occasionally fills his body with air and blows the sail, making the entire ship reach stratospheric speed for several minutes. Despite this, Vegeta is impatient, saying that it would be much faster if they flew. Zoro says that no matter where they need to go, they always take the ship with them, or else they wouldn't be a pirate crew. When Zoro says this, Vegeta takes the opportunity to satisfy his curiosity. Speaking of which, you guys love to say you're a pirate crew, but I'm only seeing the 2 of you. How can you call this a crew? When Vegeta asks this question, both Zoro and Luffy gain a sadder and darker look in their expressions, making it clear that this subject is taboo for them. It didn't used to be just the 2 of us. Luffy responds briefly, his tone and expression making it clear that he doesn't want to discuss the subject any further. I understand. Somehow, Vegeta feels sorry for both of them. The person who talks a little more about the subject is Zoro, saying that unfortunately, the war between ninjas and pirates had a very high cost for the Straw Hat Pirates. Luffy and I were the last ones left of our crew. I tell him all the time that we should look for new companions, since we need other people to do the other functions that we don't know how to do very well. But Luffy refuses to look for new people. Vegeta listens to everything in silence, and then looks at Luffy. I understand. It seems like this guy is quite sentimental despite looking like an airhead. On the large continent, Goku travels with Team 7, the ninjas running and the Saiyan flying over them. As they travel, Goku sees great destruction throughout that territory. In the terrain, many craters and cracks. In forests, fallen trees, and partially destroyed mountains. And in cities and towns, much destruction and reconstruction work. Goku asks about all this destruction, deducing that very intense battles took place all over that place. The ninjas confirm this, saying that this was the result of the great war between ninjas and pirates. It must have been a horrible war, Goku comments. It was the worst war this world has ever seen, Naruto confirms. The losses are incalculable, whether in destruction or loss of life. I myself have lost count of how many comrades I saw die in that war. In addition to my many friends, I lost my father and mother in this war. Sasuke lost his entire clan. Kakashi-sensei lost his father and also his best friends. Sakura lost her best friend too. We will never forget the terror of that war. With the grief of their fallen comrades hanging over their minds, the ninjas are saddened. Let me tell you something. Naruto begins to speak, his tone full of seriousness. Regardless of anything, the fact is that Konjac brought the peace that our world so needed. I hope you're right about him, because if you're not, we're all going to band together and take you down. Even though he is threatened, Goku does not get angry. On the contrary, he understands their side perfectly, but he assures that he is not wrong. Konjac is an evil being and he needs to be slaughtered. As it approaches the world capital across the great ocean, the Straw Hat's ship enters a river, which serves as a water bridge between the capital and the ocean. As soon as they enter this river and see that they are the only ones in it, Zoro and Luffy suspect that something is wrong, since, according to them, normally this river would be full of pirate ships and merchants and not empty like this. Konjac is waiting for us, Vegeta states with certainty. Suddenly, a dense fog circles the river, completely obscuring their vision. It seems like it has already started, Zoro says with an excited smile. Vegeta, while shouting for them to stop hiding, hits both his hands in a powerful slap, creating a wave of impact so strong that in a second, it dissipates all the dense fog that has accumulated. When the fog clears, they find themselves surrounded by dozens, or perhaps hundreds, of ships. Pirates from all over the world are gathered there. Commanding this gigantic fleet of pirates are the Shichibukais. Well, it seems like everyone came together to welcome us. How interesting, Zoro comments. Impatient, Vegeta begins to raise his ki, saying he will finish them all off in an instant. But Zoro tells him and Luffy not to bother, as he will deal with everyone there. Can you do that? Vegeta asks, a little in disbelief, but Luffy is the one who responds, saying that behind him, Zoro is the most powerful pirate in this world. He can definitely handle this situation. Go at once and leave this to me, Zoro says as he draws his swords and puts himself in a fighting stance. Luffy thanks his companion as he transforms into Gear 4 and starts flying away, telling Vegeta to follow him. Vegeta says goodbye to the green-haired pirate with a smile that shows respect and follows Luffy. Among the Shichibukai, the one trying to chase Luffy and Vegeta is Dracula Mihawk, who jumps towards them, preparing a sword cut. But Zoro intervenes, jumping in front of him and forcing Mihawk to give up his attack to counter Zoro's sword. A brief exchange of sword strikes begins in the air as the two swordsmen fall, with only the pressure of their blades deflected by each other, cutting through dozens of ships around them. In the end, Zoro returns to his ship and Mihawk to where he was. The green-haired man is intact, while the hawk-eyed man shows some cuts. You can all come at once, I'll cut everyone, the pirate from the Straw Hat crew says with conviction. Luffy and Vegeta fly towards the world capital, already seeing the great metropolis. We're getting to him, the pirate warns. Coming over dry land, Team 7 and Goku can now see the large city. However, the large land in front of the city, which seemed empty, is suddenly filled with thousands of small explosions of smoke. In the next instant, thousands of ninjas from all over the world appear, all led by the 5 Kage. Sasuke says that he really thought it was strange that they were getting closer so easily. Kakashi comments that Konjac doesn't seem to have thought twice before creating a trap for them, which in a way confirms his cunning nature. Sakura agrees and says that Goku might actually be right about him. All the ninjas in that army that formed in front of the city are extremely disappointed with Team 7, especially with Naruto, considered a great hero by all of them. Among everyone, the one who speaks is Tsunade, the Hokage, who asks what they are thinking about helping this invader. Naruto responds by saying that things are not what they seem, and they have good reasons for doing so. But the Raikage is furious, saying that there can be no good reason for this, and that they are nothing more than traitors. Goku tells Naruto that it is useless to try to talk to them, as Konjac has already manipulated their minds. Sasuke puts himself in front of everyone, saying that if there is no way to talk, then he will find a way to hold them all. Kakashi and Sakura come to his side soon after, saying they will help and that Naruto should take Goku to Konjac. Goku is surprised by their attitude and asks if they could really deal with so many people. Naruto, on the other hand, is very confident and responds that he's sure they can handle it. Naruto then transforms into Six Paths Sage Mode and, starting to fly, calls Goku to continue their way. Goku does so and they fly away. The other ninjas think about intervening, but Kakashi and Sasuke activate their Susanos to get everyone's attention at the same time that Sakura summons Katsuyu. When Team 7 prepares for battle, that entire shinobi army trembles, knowing they are about to face the most powerful ninja team in the world. As they fly through the world capital, Vegeta and Luffy are attacked by troops upon troops of ninjas, pirates, marines, and samurai who try in every way to reach them in the sky. But Vegeta and Luffy fend them off and knock them out with the Saiyan's energy blasts and the pirates' long-range attacks. At one point, they are reached by a series of shots, which are fired by Don Krieg. They also need to dodge several kunais and shurikens, which are thrown by Tenten. "Don't irritate me, you annoying worms," Vegeta shouts as he fires an energy blast at them. Despite trying to defend himself with his shield, Don Krieg has his entire suit destroyed by the God of Destruction's ki blast, being absolutely defeated. The same happens with Tenten, who cannot defend or dodge. Then Arlong jumps at them, with his teeth prepared to bite Luffy. "Gomo Gomu no Kongun!" Luffy hits the fishman square in the face, throwing him back where he came from, but with a gigantic force that completely knocks him out. Propelled into the sky by a jet of smoke released from his lower part, Smoker comes, ready to hit Vegeta. "Get out of my way!" Accumulating great strength in his hand, Vegeta fires a strong punch into the air, generating a wave of force so powerful that it sweeps the marine out of his way, throwing him far away. The next one to look for them in the sky is Kaido, who in the form of a large dragon snakes through the air towards Luffy. "Gomu, Gomu, no King Kongan!" The Pirate King lands an extremely powerful blow on the dragon, knocking him to the ground. Luffy and Vegeta find themselves getting closer and closer to the floating castle in the center of the great world capital, where the angel resides. "Almost there," Luffy warns. Also getting closer and closer to the floating castle are Naruto and Goku, being forced to deal with an army of ninjas, pirates, marines, and samurai beneath them. But an enemy also approaches from the sky, Deidara, who, flying on his clay bird, launches dozens of explosives at them. Goku, however, quickly deals with this, using his telekinetic strength to push Deidara's explosives back at him at the moment of the explosion, making the blonde ninja's own art defeat him. Suddenly, Goku and Naruto see two flashes of red energy ascend into the sky. They, however, are not flying, but rising into the sky thanks to the propulsion of a powerful jump that they performed thanks to the titanic strength of their legs. These people are Might Guy and Rock Lee, who, after activating all their inner gates, attack the enemies in the sky with all the power they have. However, not even all the power of these two means anything to the great shinobi god, who flies towards them, colliding his body with theirs. This single shock throws Guy and Lee back to the ground, opening a gigantic crater in the city and putting the two great taijutsu masters out of combat. Then, Naruto performs the multiple shadow clone jutsu, evoking with his chakra dozens of clones that fall in droves from the sky to fight the enemies that pile up below them. "Each clone of mine is enough to defeat dozens or hundreds of them, so we won't need to worry anymore," Naruto says. Getting closer and closer to the floating castle, Goku smiles, knowing that his target is getting closer. However, his smile fades when he sees, on the wall of the castle that hangs over the sky, two men. "Who are these guys?" Goku asks. Just by looking, he already recognizes that they are not ordinary opponents. These are two of the most powerful ninjas in history, Madara Uchiha and Hashirama Senju. Naruto introduces them. "Damn, more people to slow us down," Goku complains. However, Naruto tells Goku to move on, and that he will deal with these two. Goku asks if he's sure, as they seem pretty strong. Naruto says yes, he's sure. "I'll catch up with you as soon as possible," the blonde ninja says. Goku then moves on, and when Madara and Hashirama think about following him, Naruto interjects, "Sorry, but I can't let you pass." Hashirama, very saddened, says he is disappointed, asking how he went from the hero of the ninja world to a defender of an enemy. "I don't expect you to understand me now, but believe me, I'm doing what's right," he answers. Vegeta and Luffy approach the castle at full speed when they notice on the wall a group of enemies lurking, waiting for them. What is it now? Vegeta looks grumpily at the opponents that appear. Luffy explains that these are the admirals, very powerful people. Damn! I don't want to waste any more time with these bugs, the Prince of Saiyans shouts. Luffy then tells Vegeta to move on. He will deal with these enemies alone and meet him later. Vegeta nods his head in agreement and then continues flying towards the castle like an energy cannon, breaking through the fortress walls. Luffy hovers on the castle wall facing the admirals, saying with an excited smile that this is going to be fun. Destroying wall by wall of the large floating fort, Vegeta finally reaches its center, the main hall where Cognac is sitting on the throne. To Vegeta's surprise, Kakarot is already there. He just arrived. Hey Vegeta, I knew you would come. He salutes his companion. Kakarot, since when have you been here? I can't believe you got there before me. Don't be upset about that. I arrived just now. Cognac rises from his throne, saying that it doesn't matter who arrived first. He will kill them both. Goku and Vegeta leave the discussion for later. After all, the fight against a formidable enemy is about to begin. At the same time, the Saiyan duo raises their ki to a higher level, evoking the transcendental power of the Shinken. The ultimate fight is about to begin. Looking at the Shinken transformation of old Goku and God Vegeta, Cognac smiles. He says that when Godita showed this transformation, he felt great fear, but now he doesn't feel that anymore. You're not Godita, you're just two worms, the angel teases. What did you say, you bug? Vegeta exclaims, his energy of destruction rising in anger. In the blink of an eye, Cognac is already between them, surprising them both with his speed. That's exactly what you heard. The angel responds. Startled, Vegeta rushes to try strike the angel, but Cognac skillfully diverts the flow of his blow and manipulates Vegeta's body to throw him against Goku. Goku dodges the companion thrown at him in time, but is unable to dodge it when Cognac takes advantage of this distraction to land an attack. Goku and Vegeta are thrown out of the floating castle. Vegeta, we have to do the fusion now, Goku says in a hurry. Don't be stupid, Kakarot. The last time we fused, we ran the risk of being united forever. Luckily, we were separated for some reason when we got here. I won't take that risk again. I prefer death. Goku ends up agreeing with him. I think you're right. It is better to die as ourselves than live as someone else. When we fused last time, we did it because Cumber threatened our reality. So we did it for our friends and family. We don't need to do this now. The two are reached by the evil angel, who comes out of the castle towards them in the form of a flash of energy. Goku and Vegeta quickly separate to avoid being run over by the angel's devastating movement, who, after missing them, opens his arms and launches a wave of power at each one. Thanks to his transcendentally improved Ultra Instinct, Goku is able to dodge using his good reflexes, even though his speed is very limited compared to that of the angel. Vegeta, on the other hand, is forced to try and hold back Cognac's energy, which he doesn't do successfully and is carried away. Goku stands against the angel in an attempt to land successive attacks, which Cognac easily escapes using his superior agility, and then, using his superior strength, he strikes Goku's chest with highly forceful power. Goku suffers from the blow. However, he shows great resilience when counter-attacking, even if unsuccessfully. Very good. Boy, that punch of mine was aimed squarely at your heart. It would be a mortal blow. However, you managed to avoid the fatal point at the last moment. Even with much lower power, you can still react to my attacks thanks to this extraordinary ability called Shinken. However, Goku doesn't feel extraordinary, seeing all of his moves that he puts so much effort into being so easily avoided by the evil angel. Approaching again, accumulating a high amount of destructive power, Vegeta shouts for Kakarot to move away, and then launches a powerful blast of concentrated destructive energy. Cognac is impressed by the power of Vegeta's attack and avoids it by disappearing from where he is and then reappearing behind Vegeta as quickly as a teleportation. Your attack power is incredible thanks to the Shinken that enhances your destructive power, God of Destruction. Even though I'm more powerful than you, I don't feel comfortable resisting a direct attack from you. Vegeta delivers several blows to the angel and Goku approaches to join him. Even though the two Shinken warriors attack at the same time, the evil angel manages to avoid each blow. As the fight continues, Konyak gradually changes his mind about the things he said to Goku and Vegeta at the beginning of the fight, and now praises the opponents he previously despised. You two are amazing, I must admit that. It's no surprise that your fusion results in a warrior as extraordinary as GOGETA. However, it's like I said before. At the same time, Konyak hits Goku and Vegeta with a blow that knocks bloody vomit out of both of their mouths. You're not GOGETA, and you're not as strong as him, the evil angel says. But Vegeta grabs the angel's arm and replies, "We don't need to be as strong as GOGETA, just stronger than you." Extending his other hand, he releases a wave of energy at close range into Konyak's chest, dragging the evil angel across the sky. After receiving this attack, Konyak is unable to avoid placing his hands on his chest, showing agony at the damage received. Vegeta smiles when he sees the angel's obvious discomfort with his attack. "You're all talk, you stupid angel. You're not as powerful as you made out to be." Goku thinks of something, and then he says to Vegeta, "Wait, Vegeta, this is really strange. Even though it's not as strong as him, this angel has enough power to maintain a fight against GOGETA for some time. This means that he is much more powerful than us, and should not have been hurt by an attack like that." Vegeta asks what Kakarot means by that, and argues that the angel was clearly injured by his attack. That's true. However, I noticed that he hasn't used his magic staff until now. I remember he lost his staff in the fight against GOGETA, which means he doesn't have it anymore. Furthermore, in the fight against GOGETA, he was also seriously injured right at the point you hit just now. Vegeta begins to understand what Goku means. So you're saying he's still suffering from the injury GOGETA caused because he couldn't heal himself with his magic staff? Goku confirms and says that when the body is badly injured, the power level can also be affected. Gohan, for example, lost approximately half of his power in the fight against Cell when his arm was injured. At this moment, Konyak's power is greatly reduced, and he has a weak point that they can exploit. Vegeta starts to think better, and concludes that perhaps this is the reason he didn't personally go and deal with them before. This injury is making it difficult for him to fight, and that's why he preferred to send those two in the hope that we would be defeated without him having to risk himself. Goku agrees with this conclusion, and then admits, "You know, I didn't have much hope of winning this fight, since these angels are much stronger than the angels from our original reality. But now, I see that we really can win." Konyak gets angry when he hears this. He admits that yes, he hasn't fully recovered from the wound inflicted by GOGETA, and he also can't use all of his magical angel powers. However, he claims that he remains superior to them even with his power reduced. Goku and Vegeta raise their Shinken ki even higher, determined to win. In the form of purple and silver flashes, they advance against Konyak, which, in the form of a ray of white light, meets them. The clash of these bodies culminates in an explosion of light that radiates across the skies of the world capital, causing the entire gigantic city to be illuminated and shaken by the surreal power of those fighting in the skies. Ninjas, marines, samurai, and pirates are amazed at the vibrational forces that permeate their bodies and the entire structure of the city, for a moment looking mesmerized at the confrontation taking place above. All that can be seen by them are figures, flashes, and explosions of impact or energy. Every now and then, a portion of the fighter's energy falls from the sky, bringing with it explosions that completely destroy parts of the city, causing panic and despair. Goku and Vegeta determinedly attack the evil angel, who, despite his previous injury, always responds with superiority. Finding a gap between the two's attacks, Konyak targets the Saiyan duo with a series of blows, which Goku and Vegeta receive with great suffering. Unable to continue the physical confrontation, they retreat. "Damn it, Kakarot. What's the point of this bastard having a weak point if we can't hit him?" Vegeta complains. Goku becomes thoughtful, realizing that although Konyak is an angel, and therefore has a very well developed Ultra Instinct, he does not seem to just be reacting instinctively to their attacks, but rather predicting. When Goku says this, Vegeta thinks of something. "Hey Kakarot, maybe there's another reason why this bastard sent those two to fight us. He was already waiting for us, which means he knew we were coming. In other words, he was watching us, so he saw us fight. This trickster saw our movements and techniques and is using it to his advantage. Goku agrees with Vegeta and accuses Konyak of cheating. Do you really want to talk about cheating in a 2-on-1 fight? The angel retorts. Now speaking more quietly, Goku says to Vegeta, but regardless of the reason, the fact is that this guy, in addition to being more powerful than us and having Ultra Instinct, can, in a certain way, predict what we are going to do. We won't be able to beat him on our own. Vegeta asks what Kakarot suggests they do. Goku says that if they could count on the help of others, maybe there is a chance. The problem is that they are busy fighting each other. Vegeta doesn't like this idea, saying it would be humiliating to drag even more people into this fight. Enough of this talk, Kakarot. I will defeat this bastard with my own strength. The god of destruction attacks the angel. Wait, Vegeta, don't be hasty. Goku goes right away to help. They resume the exchange of blows against Konyak, at a disadvantage even though they fight together. At that moment, Goku has an idea, so he starts to question Konyak. Hey, tell me something. How do you intend to return to the reality we came from? Konyak says he has no idea how to do this, and that he will try to figure out a way to get back. On the other hand, it's not a bad idea to stay in that place, since he's become a kind of leader for those idiots. So you intend to stay here deceiving and enslaving these people? Wasn't tricking them into turning them against Vegeta and me enough? Goku asks. Konyak says there's no reason not to use these suckers anymore. After all, there are always uses for good pawns. After the angel says these things, Goku smiles and tells him to look down. At first he doesn't understand, but when Konyak looks towards the city below them, he realizes that everyone there has already stopped fighting and is looking up at the sky with an indignant expression on their faces. Konyak asks what happened, and then Goku tells him that he used his telepathic power, enhanced by Shinken, to transmit the angel's speeches to everyone in the city. Now everyone knows your real intentions. Your mask has fallen. Goku celebrates. You bastard! Konyak curses the Saiyan, hitting him hard and pushing Goku away. Then he also strikes and pushes Vegeta away. From the city below, everyone is scandalized by what they have just heard and immediately prepares to begin the offensive against the evil angel who deceived them. The first to take initiative are Naruto and Luffy, who no longer need to deal with that entire army to cover Goku and Vegeta. They fly towards the angel to join the battle against him. However, Konyak thinks quickly and extends his arms to create a large dome of energy in the sky, isolating him, Goku, and Vegeta. Naruto and Luffy are prevented from advancing. They try to attack the dome to get through, but the power of that energy shield is greater than theirs, so it's useless. That will keep the others away, at least for now, the angel thinks. With a mischievous smile, Goku gloats that Konyak can keep others away with this protection, but he will need to spend a considerable amount of energy to maintain it. In other words, another disadvantage has just emerged. Come on, Vegeta, let's attack him with everything we have now, old Goku calls out while increasing the intensity of his ki. I don't need you to tell me that, Kakarot, God Vegeta responds, also summoning more power. Emanating power, the Saiyan duo once again attack, this time forcing the evil angel to retreat, pressured by the power exuded by the Saiyans and also by his own expenditure of power. However, Konyak still gains the upper hand, narrowly avoiding Goku and Vegeta's attacks and retaliating surgically, landing blunt blows on both of them. Goku and Vegeta are once again forced to retreat in frustration. Vegeta complains, saying that even though Konyak's power is greatly reduced, the precision of his Ultra Instinct, combined with the ability to predict their attacks, still gives the advantage to the angel. At that moment, Goku has an idea and starts to smile, saying he already knows what to do. He flies towards Konyak, who is preparing for whatever the Saiyan's attack is. However, Goku does what he didn't expect. Shadow clone technique. To the Angel's complete surprise, several real Goku clones form around him and begin attacking at the same time, with multiple Gokus around him, all attacking with mastery thanks to the abilities of Ultra Instinct. Konyak ends up being confused and surprised, starting to receive blows from multiple Shinken warriors. Goku explains that although Naruto has different techniques than him, the ways in which they are done are not that different. With Shinken, he acquires a heightened ability to manipulate ki, so he is capable of doing these things as long as he concentrates. Suffering blows from all sides, Konyak becomes enraged and releases his ki in an explosion of energy that hits and dissipates all of Goku's clones. But the original Goku resists the push of the angel's energy and charges forward with a punch. Konyak dodges at the last moment. However, he is surprised when Goku's attack hits his face even though his fist misses. Goku channeled his ki imperceptibly to hit the angel, just as Naruto hit him using his natural chakra in Sage mode. Struck by surprise by the blow, Konyak staggers, and then Goku, creating a rotating spiral sphere of ki in his hand, shouts, "Rasengan!" The ki sphere hits the middle of the angel's chest, carrying him away and then exploding. With all this direct impact on the injured area of his chest, the angel expels blood through his mouth amidst agonizing coughs. However, Konyak still lives and in fury prepares to counterattack Goku. "You bastard! How dare you!" The evil angel raises his hands to concentrate his energy in a devastating attack, but he is surprised again when an arm wraps around his body like a rope, trapping him. When Konyak realizes, he sees that the person who did this was Vegeta, who simply stretched his arm towards him. It's not just Kakarot who can copy other people's skills. I can also use control over my ki to use that straw hat idiot's techniques. Containing Konyak with one of his arms, Vegeta stretches the other back while accumulating his energy of destruction in his fist. And then, making his arm return with full power, Vegeta shouts, "Hakai Pisto!" The Saiyan God's arm, imbued with the power of destruction, travels at an extraordinary speed towards Konyak, hitting the angel's chest right at its weak point, crossing his body. Vegeta releases Konyak at the same time as he removes his arm from the villain's body, bringing both his arms back to begin preparing a Gallic gun. In turn, Goku also prepares an attack, accumulating his energy for a Kamehameha. Konyak, pouring blood from his mouth, finds himself paralyzed by the excruciating pain that affects him and also by the shock of what is happening. In unity, Goku and Vegeta fire their attacks. Kamehameha and Gallic Gun meet in a titanic clash of energy with the dying angel at the center. In an explosion of colossal power, both techniques disappear, taking the evil angel with them. With the defeat of the enemy that deceived them all, the Marines, pirates, ninjas and samurai below, who once craved the blood of the Saiyans, now scream in jubilation at their victory. As soon as Konyak disappears, his shield dissipates, allowing Naruto and Luffy to approach, who arrive flying towards Goku and Vegeta, praising them for their victory. "Hey, you used my Gomu Gomu no pistol. That was really cool," Luffy says to Vegeta, excited. Vegeta, on the other hand, isn't proud of this at all. On the contrary, he's embarrassed. "I still can't believe I stooped so low as to use such a ridiculous technique." Naruto also praises Goku, saying that he had a lot of work to learn those techniques, while Goku learned just by watching him use them. "You are a true genius. I admit that," says the shinobi god. Goku is flattered and thanks him. Luffy says that since they are all together, they should eat something to celebrate. Naruto agrees and invites everyone to go to Ramen Ichiraku. Goku is very happy when he hears this and tells Vegeta that he has to meet Ichiraku. The food there is incredible. Vegeta pretends to be uninterested but agrees to go. However, their attention is suddenly caught when a tear opens in the sky, revealing a fissure in space-time. Goku and Vegeta immediately recognize it as a dimensional rift and are alarmed, as are Naruto, Luffy, and everyone else. However, when they see who has just come out of that dimensional rift, they are more relieved. It is the Daishinkan from Vegito's reality. Goku tells everyone to stay calm because the person just arrived is a friend. Vegeta asks how Daishinkan found them, and he explains that he was already searching between dimensions, but managed to find them at this moment because of the great increase in power just now. With the increase in Goku, Vegeta, and Konyak's Ki, he was able to detect them and reach this dimension. Goku is very happy about this and says they can leave soon after a meal at Ichiraku, but Daishinkan's expression is not good at all. For some reason he looks worried tired and in pain. He says he needs Goku and Vegeta to go with him immediately. Seeing that something wrong has happened, they agree. Goku and Vegeta say goodbye to Naruto and Luffy and tell them to give their greetings to the others. "I hope that even after Konyak's defeat, you will maintain peace," Goku says. But Naruto and Luffy say that even though it all started with a lie, in the end, they all learned to work together. And this bond that was built won't break apart so easily. The Saiyans are happy when they hear this. They say goodbye and leave that reality next to Daishinkan. Once they cross the dimensional rift, it takes less than a second for them to return to the world they came from before. Interestingly, although Goku and Vegeta entered the rift with Daishinkan, the one who comes out on the other side with the Supreme Angel is GOGETA. Gogeta is surprised when he realizes he's back and asks what happened. Daishinkan theorizes that because the fusion was separated by some sort of atypicality of that dimension, the effect was undone once they returned. But actually, it's better this way, since given the situation, I will need your power, Gogeta, and not Goku and Vegeta's power. Gogeta says that Daishinkan doesn't look very good and asks if something happened. When asked this question, Daishinkan looks seriously at Gogeta and replies that yes, something happened, something very bad. Distressed, Gogeta asks him to speak at once. Vegito is gone, Daishinkan announces, to Gogeta's complete shock. But that's not all. The evil angels are closer than ever to defeating us. Gogeta asks what he's talking about and how things could have changed in such a short time. I mean, Goku and Vegeta only spent a little more than a day in that reality of ninjas and pirates. How in such a short time have things changed so much? But Daishinkan explains to Gogeta that apparently the passage of time was very different in the reality he just arrived from. In that reality, it may have only been a little more than a day for Goku and Vegeta. But in this reality, many days have passed. From Goku and Vegeta's memories, Gogeta remembers that Konyak arrived in that dimension weeks before them, even though they fell into the dimensional rift at the same time. In other words, the passage of time is indeed very confusing. Anyway, explain to me once and for all what happened, Gogeta asks, his anxiety growing more and more. Daishinkan then begins to tell what happened a few days ago. Intense training takes place in the world of the gods. Vegito, in his Ultra form, intensely trains Gohan, who fights in his most powerful form, trying to learn how to compensate for the lack of his arm that was ripped off by Zyko. But this time, Bulla was also taken to train in the world of the gods, serving as a training partner for Beerus and Champa, helping the boys evolve at the same time that she also evolves. Daishinkan is absent from the planet, focused on wandering through dimensions looking for Gogeta. Everything seems normal when, suddenly, Vegito receives an alert from the dimensional radar. This time, a gigantic anomaly has been detected, and he obviously rushes to answer the call. When Vegito arrives at the location, he finds a dimensional rift from which an extremely dark energy exudes, something that seems to have the capacity to contaminate the entire great universe with the purest evil. When Vegito enters this dimension, he finds an absolutely gigantic energy source of universal proportions, a source of pure evil energy. This is pure evil. Something like that would have enough power to contaminate entire universes. Vegito's body trembles at that. It catches his attention when the Angel Corn reveals himself, making Vegito automatically conclude that he was responsible for opening that dimensional rift. Corn is ecstatic, laughing from ear to ear, vibrating with excitement. He says proudly that among all the angels, he was the one who found what they were looking for so much. Vegito asks what he means by that. Corn reveals that their entire goal during this time was to find the evil seed, and he finally succeeded. All this time snooping around hundreds of thousands of realities has finally paid off. We did it! Corn screams in joy. Vegito says he doesn't know what he's talking about, but he's sure he can't allow this thing to continue to exist. Corn says he won't let Vegito ruin their plans now. The evil angel attacks Vegito with everything he has, with the two entering into an intense combat in which the Saiyan warrior has complete advantage. Despite all of Corn's efforts, it doesn't take long for Vegito to end the battle, completely destroying the evil angel with a powerful Hakai. After eliminating Corn, Vegito hurries to think about what to do about that source of evil power that the angel called the evil seed. However, to his misfortune, the evil Daishinkan arrives. He was called by Korn the moment he found that dimension, and his fight against Vegito was just to buy time. "You won't be able to defeat me, Vegito. Give up and surrender," says the evil Daishinkan. Vegito ponders for a moment. "It's true, I can't defeat you, but I can destroy this thing." Vegito turns to the evil seed, quickly accumulating an absurd amount of destruction power in his hands, ready to launch his most powerful Hakai. However, the leader of the evil angels is faster, advancing on the Saiyan's back and impaling his body with his arm. "You haven't thought about it very well, have you, Vegito?" Daishinkan asks, penetrating his arm more and more into Vegito's body in a torturous way. "First, you alone would never have enough power to destroy such a great and pure source of power. Second, you should never turn your back on me." However, Vegito smiles and responds, saying that at least he also got the time he wanted. The evil Daishinkan asks what Vegito means by that, but he dies before he can answer. After concentrating for a while, the evil angel notices the presence of someone outside the dimensional rift. This person is the Daishinkan of this reality, who, even though he was searching for GOGETA between dimensions, felt the leak of this evil energy throughout the universe and went to see what it was about. The benign Daishinkan is startled to realize what the evil angels have just encountered and immediately realizes their objective. "I see, so that's the main reason they came here, and also why they mess with alternative realities so much." He concludes, the angel of the great universe knows that he cannot let his evil enemies dominate this source of energy, so he immediately takes action, extending his hands towards that dimensional rift from which the evil power leaks and beginning to release monstrous energy as he begins sucking that dimension into himself. Inside that dimension, the evil Daishinkan becomes restless, realizing too late what is happening. "Damn you!" he shouts to his counterpart who is outside. In an extraordinary act that demonstrates a unique sealing power and strong bodily resistance, the Daishinkan of the great universe simply seals that entire dimension and the evil seed within his own body in the form of a magical seal that forms in the middle of his chest. Returning to the present time, as soon as Daishinkan finishes telling GOGETA all this, he shows the magical seal on his chest. "Right now, that entire dimension is sealed inside me, including that strange source of power and my evil counterpart." GOGETA notices that the Daishinkan's body doesn't look so good, showing that maintaining this sealing has a high cost for him. It was an incredible feat. The problem is that it won't last long. "You are right, GOGETA. There is a high cost for me to maintain this sealing, both in power and health. I am very weak and I will not resist for too long," Daishinkan informs. GOGETA then asks what they are going to do. At that moment, Daishinkan realizes something that the Saiyan still cannot and suggests that they talk about it at another time. In the next second, 4 flashes of light appear fast as a teleport surrounding them, which turn out to be 4 evil angels: Sour, Kukatail, Whis, and Mojito. Whis, who appears to be the one leading the group, says, "You finally appeared, Daishinkan. We were anxiously waiting for you to come out of the hideout, and it seems you congratulated us by bringing GOGETA too." Realizing that they are in trouble, GOGETA takes his fighting stance and transforms into his Shinken form, preparing for the worst. "You finally appeared, Daishinkan. We were anxiously waiting for you to come out of hiding, and it seems you congratulated us by bringing GOGETA too," says Evil Whis, leading 3 more evil angels who have just surrounded GOGETA and Daishinkan. Whis, Kukatail, Sour, and Mojito show off their evil smiles, not hiding their voracious intentions towards the two. Realizing that they are in trouble, GOGETA takes his fighting stance and transforms into his Shinken form, preparing for the worst. "Come on, you rats," he challenges his enemies. Beside him, Daishinkan places his hand on his chest, unable to hide the excruciating pain he feels. GOGETA asks him what's happening. Daishinkan explains that the power of the evil seed sealed within him resonates with the evil nature of these angels. Being around them definitely doesn't make it easier to contain all that evil trapped inside. The 4 evil angels begin to raise their energies, their key auras radiating light and heat through the void. "Damn, it looks like he won't be able to help me much here," GOGETA says tensely to himself as he prepares for the angels' attack. The first to move is Kukatail, rushing towards Gogeta, trying to land a clear blow on the Saiyan, who thwarts his attack by teleporting to surprise Sour with an attack. Despite the scare of being suddenly attacked, Sour deftly dodges, using the extremely sharp reflexes of his Ultra Instinct, quickly retaliating against Gogeta's attack, who also uses the attributes of his Ultra Instinct to dodge, then also needing to escape an attack from energy fired by Mojito. Whis tries to take advantage of the Saiyan's distraction to attempt a fatal blow through a blind spot on his back. The Shinken warrior, endowed with an excellent perceptive capacity, is able to turn around to defend the angel's attack and then maneuver his body to launch Whis against Sour, who also comes to attack. Sour manages to dodge his brother thrown at him, but is unable to avoid Gogeta's attack that comes shortly after, with the enemy's foot hitting his angelic face squarely. Kukatail goes against Gogeta by launching a sequence of attacks, one blow followed by another, all containing all of the angel's speed, strength, and skill. However, Kukatail is just a distraction so that Mojito advances towards Daishinkan, preparing a blow from which it seems that the benign angel will not be able to defend himself because of the paralyzing pain he feels. Gogeta is quick to rescue him, pointing one hand at Kukatail, who attacks him, and then the other at Daishinkan, making the two angels exchange places with the teleportation. So Daishinkan appears safe next to Gogeta, and Kukatail is hit hard by Mojito. Gogeta takes this chance to accumulate a huge amount of ki in his hand in the form of a small sphere of multicolored energy. Stardust Breaker! Gogeta screams as he launches his attack. The sphere of energy with enough accumulated power to vaporize the two angels heads towards them at full speed. However, Whis and Sour intervene at the same time, getting in front of their two evil brothers, forming an energy shield that, containing the power of the two angels combined, manages to block Gogeta's shot, causing an explosion of cosmic proportions to appear. Damn, it's hard to land a fatal attack with so many of them fighting together. Gogeta complains after having such a powerful attack thwarted. Daishinkan, in agony, asks him to take this chance to retreat. Gogeta says that he doesn't want to do that and that it would be shameful to run away like that. Daishinkan insists and reveals that the longer these angels spend close to him, the more dangerous this fight will become. Finally, he tells Gogeta that this is not an escape, but a strategic retreat. Furthermore, this fight has not been fair from the beginning. The sigh given by Gogeta reveals his withdrawal from that discussion. Okay, let's take advantage of all this light and energy released across the environment to escape without leaving a trace. With a teleportation, they escape from there. When the spectacle of light and energy generated by Gogeta's Stardust Breaker blast against Whis and Sour's shield finally ends, the angels notice that their enemies are no longer there. They try to sense their ki to chase them. Unfortunately for the evil angels, their trails is gone. Kukatail curses this situation, lamenting that they missed another opportunity to eliminate these bastards once and for all. Calm down, brother, Whis says. You got a good look at that angel, didn't you? He is getting worse and worse, and soon he will no longer be able to contain our father or the evil seed. It won't be long before our father returns more powerful than ever, and when that happens, our victory will be assured. In agreement with Whis' words, the other angels smile. After teleporting, Gogeta and Daishinkan appear in the world of the gods. Gogeta asks how they ended up there, since he didn't imagine going to this world when he teleported. Daishinkan explains that he somehow manipulated Gogeta into going there. Gogeta doesn't like it very much. However, he quickly forgets that when he realizes that there is something very different about that place. The planet is in another dimension. When Gogeta asks the reason for this, Daishinkan explains that they were forced to remove the planet from the great universe as they were attacked by evil angels and were unable to defend themselves. Daishinkan says that without Vegito and him being weakened, they were unable to face all those angels. If you ask me, I'd say I could have at least destroyed some of them, Chamus says, his energetic voice echoing through the place as he approaches. Daishinkan responds to the god of destruction by saying that even if he destroyed some angels, it would be useless since there are too many of them. Gogeta then questions what happened to the universe, since the angel and the god of destruction fled. Unfortunately, the universe ended up at the mercy of these bastards. Chamus says, not containing his anger. I feel terrible being the god of that universe and having abandoned it like that. My desire is to return and destroy all those stupid angels. Before long, Zamasu also arrives at them, responding to Chamus saying that doing so would be a useless sacrifice. Daishinkan agrees. Gogeta begins to concentrate to feel the energies present in the rest of that place. He feels the presence of Bulma and Android 21. When he looks in the direction in which he felt the energies, he notices that there is a large technological center on the planet. When Gogeta asks what that is, Daishinkan tells him that they brought Bulma to the planet and also the Galactic Patrol's technological devices. They organized all of this in a kind of technological center. Chamus adds by explaining that the Galactic Patrol base was attacked by evil angels who decided to take advantage of Daishinkan's weakening moment and the absence of Vegito and Gogeta to take revenge on the patrol, which also caused them a lot of problems. Fortunately, they managed to rescue Bulma and also save the patrol's key technologies. Gogeta asks what happened to the rest of the Galactic Patrol. The patrol has been almost entirely disbanded, Daishinkan responds. Gogeta gets worried when he hears this and asks what happened to Gohan and Bulla. Oh, don't worry, they're doing just fine, Daishinkan reassures him. Actually, I think you'd better see for yourself. The angel extends one of his arms, causing, through his magic, a dimensional portal to materialize next to them. When this portal is opened, Gogeta feels incredible energy escaping from it, making it clear that very powerful people live in that place. However, he realizes that these energies are familiar in some way. After a few seconds of surprise, Gogeta just smiles, extremely proud. So it's you. I guess I shouldn't expect anything less. 4 powerful warriors emerge from the portal recently opened by Daishinkan: Gohan, Bulla, Beerus, and Champa. Gohan shows a more mature appearance. His appearance has not aged much. However, there is something about him that shows great evolution, whether personally or in power. Gogeta sees in Vegito's son the seriousness of his father, worthy of a man equipped with the desire and willingness to do what must be done. In Bulla's case, there is a notable gain in maturity, although she has not lost her youthful appearance. Furthermore, Vegito's daughter shows a wild determination in her eyes, reminiscent of her father's vitality and indomitable spirit. But those who are most surprising in their changes are young Beerus and young Champa, the children of Chamus, who until recently had a completely childish appearance and behavior, now reveal themselves in the form of 2 young people who, although they maintain the excitement of youth in their looks and expressions, convey great grandeur, like the powerful god of destruction that generated them. Unable to help but notice the gain in maturity and power of all of them, Gogeta immediately realizes what happened. I understand. You sent them to a dimension where time passes more slowly, didn't you? Like a time chamber. Daishinkan says that he doesn't know what this thing called time chamber is. But yes, he sent them to a dimension where time passes more slowly. He says that since Vegito was killed and he was weakened by the sealing of the evil Daishinkan and the evil seed, extremely arduous training was started with the younger ones, since Chamus, even though very powerful, will not be able to deal with this threat alone. Gohan and Bulla greet Gogeta, saying that it has been years since they last saw each other. Beerus and Champa do the same, and claim that they will soon be strong enough to overcome Gogeta. Gogeta likes to see their excitement, but warns them that they still have a lot of training to do before they can achieve that. Daishinkan invites Gogeta to go to the planet's technological center so they can talk better, and he agrees. When they arrive at the technology center, they see Bulma and Android 21 working at full speed. When Bulla sees Bulma, she gives her mother a big hug, her heart full of longing. For Bulma, it hasn't been that long since she's seen her daughter, while for Bulla, it's been years. Gohan is a little saddened when he sees this, remembering his mother, who he also hasn't seen in a while. Daishinkan says that Bulma and Android 21 are working on powerful machines and technologies to help in the fight against the angels. Gogeta is a little suspicious about Android 21, asking how they can trust a woman who was recently working for an evil angel. Android 21 defends herself by arguing that she only did what she was ordered to do. She also adds that, despite everything, in the end they kind of always had a common goal, even when they were enemies. Gogeta doesn't understand what she means. Android 21 says that Campari was not faithful to his father, and that in fact he always intended to put an end to Daishinkan's tyranny. She explains that Daishinkan is a very cruel father, a true despot whom everyone fears. Many angels actually respect him as a leader. However, many only obey him out of sheer terror. But Campari followed the orders of the evil Daishinkan and tried to kill us all, Gogeta retorts. Android 21 responds that of course he did that. After all, Vegito and the others were never allies. On the other hand, he needed to earn his father's respect and also work on his new technologies without arousing suspicion. However, Campari's objective in building his androids was never only to destroy Vegito and the others, but also his own father and brothers who opposed it. Among all the androids we built, Campari's greatest hope was in Cell Ultra, Android 21 reveals. Cell Ultra was our masterpiece, built from countless genetic crosses, even receiving genetics from Campari himself, an angel. Your friends told me what Daishinkan did to Vados when he found out about her genetic cross with a Saiyan, so you should have an idea of the risk Campari took by putting his own genetics into Cell Ultra. He did this in hopes of creating a perfect warrior who could evolve limitlessly, to the point where he could surpass his father and the other angels. Gogeta stops to think a little better and ends up remembering that in the final moments of his battle against Cell Ultra, he mentioned something about the possibility of them reuniting as allies, suggesting that it was built for some other undisclosed reason. Remembering these things convinces Gogeta of the android's words. Suddenly, a strong pain hits Daishinkan, who, amidst contained groans, reminds everyone that they don't have much time. Gogeta asks what their plan is, pointing out that just building androids, developing new technologies and training the youngest will not be enough to defeat all the evil angels, especially if the evil Daishinkan is released. You're right, Daishinkan agrees, and then responds, that's why our main goal is other, and we need your help for that, Gogeta. Gogeta asks what this goal is. Our goal is to bring Vegito back, Daishinkan reveals, but warns. However, some of us will probably die for these. The way Daishinkan says this gives Gogeta a shiver, and he wonders what kind of dangerous mission lies ahead now. A few hours later, in the dimension where time passes slower, all that exists is a large blank space, reminding Gogeta of the time chamber in Kami-sama Temple. In front of him are Bulla, Gohan, Beerus, and Champa. Unlike the Earth's time chamber, in his reality, which is only capable of holding 2 people, this dimension can be used by up to 5 people. Another difference is that the time a person can spend in this place is unlimited. On the other hand, a day outside this dimension is not equivalent to 1 year inside it, but rather 2 months, a time much shorter than the 1 year per day in the Earth's time chamber. Looking over each of them, Gogeta decides how he will start. Bulla, stand in front of everyone. The Saiyan woman gets excited when she receives the call and promptly obeys, taking a few steps forward. Gogeta tells her that they are going to start and asks her to get ready. Bulla does so, raising her ki and lengthening her hair as she transforms into Super Saiyan 3. How about that? My power has grown a lot, right? She brags. However, Gogeta becomes enraged. Like a rocket, he shoots his body at Bulla, grabbing her neck tightly, pressing so hard that it causes a loud crack. Bulla is destabilized and suffocated in shock by this attack containing such voracity. Bulla isn't the only one surprised by Gogeta's aggressive and angry attack. Everyone else feels the same. Do you think this is a joke, girl? Gogeta asks. Don't waste our time. Use all your power at once, he orders, his hand wrapping around her throat tighter and tighter. Almost in desperation, Bulla quickly raises her ki sharply, releasing an aura of warm energy that pushes Gogeta away in an explosion of impact. Bulla now displays her new transformation, very different from the one she just used. If you insist, I will start with my maximum power. This is my new transformation. I call it Super Saiyan 4. She takes her combat stance and warns, get ready, Gogeta, because I won't hold back. After telling Gogeta that she won't take it easy, Bulla starts off heading towards him while increasing the intensity of her ki, shouting a war cry. She is met with aggression, having her punch deflected and her face held by the older Saiyan, who throws her head against the ground with enough force to destroy it. Bulla is completely surprised by this. not expecting her blow to be avoided so easily and responded to with so much violence. Gogeta, not intending to give her time to recover, launches the Saiyan girl into the air and fires a small sphere of concentrated energy that Bulla manages to dodge at the last moment, to later see a majestic explosion happen above her, indicating that attack, although simple in appearance, it had enough power to cause serious damage. She asks what Gogeta is doing and wonders if this is really training. Her response comes 1,000th of a second later, with Gogeta already moving in front of Vegito's daughter, punching her directly in the abdomen, causing a sharp pain that destabilizes Bulla. Then he grabs her by the hair to throw her face straight against his knee, opening a crack in the Super Saiyan 4's forehead. Still holding her by hair, Gogeta throws her against the ground as if she were a rag doll. Beerus and Champa, seeing the way Bulla is being beaten by Gogeta, are scandalized, as they have never seen him treat someone like that in training. Gohan, no matter how hard he tries to contain himself, makes his irritation evident. Even though he understands that this is training, he doesn't like seeing his sister treated this way. Bulla stands up again, projecting dozens of ki blasts at Gogeta, triggering multiple explosions. Everything is useless against the fusion warrior, who defended himself from everything with an energy shield that wasn't even scratched despite the woman's efforts used in those shots. Gogeta doesn't take long to give his answer, moving in the form of a flash to hit Bulla with an elbow in the stomach that makes her blood squirt out of her mouth. Bulla's movements are paralyzed by the pain, falling on her knees and vomiting blood. "You bastard, what do you think you're doing? You know I'm not as strong as you, so why are you attacking me like that?" Gogeta doesn't even finish listening. He grabs Bulla by the face, squeezing her jaw hard enough to crush her teeth inside the mouth. With one arm, he lifts the woman, taking her off the ground. "Do you think you can make that kind of complaint to your enemies? In a battle, there is no mercy. They won't care about your limits. They will attack to kill. If you don't have the power to defend yourself..." Brutally, Gogeta crosses Bulla with his arm, shocking the others. "If you don't have the power to defend yourself, you will be killed," he concludes. Gogeta removes his arm from Bulla's body and lets her fall to the ground. In agony, the woman writhes. Gogeta points his hand at her, and from one moment to the next, Bulla is healed. With her body revitalized, she sits up, breathing uncontrollably because of the shock and pain she just felt. "Was that too much for you?" Gogeta asks teasingly. "If you want to give up, do it at once, so I don't waste my time." But it's the opposite. Bulla stands up, her expression serious as she faces Gogeta. She once again evokes her power, making her Super Saiyan 4 aura expand with even more intensity. Beerus and Champa immediately notice that her power has increased. Gohan explains that whenever a Saiyan is seriously injured in battle, returns stronger after recovering. Resilience is inherent in us. We were born to be warriors. Therefore, it is natural for us to overcome our limits. Seeing that Bulla hasn't given up, Gogeta asks if she's sure of what she's doing, as he intends to be harder and harder. His warning doesn't intimidate Vegito's daughter. She responds that to save her father and avenge her companions, she will do whatever is necessary. "So be it!" Gogeta prepares to continue. He remembers what he was told earlier about their next mission. "Our goal is to bring Vegito back," Daishinkan revealed in the conversation they had earlier in the planet's technological center. But then he warned, "However, some of us will probably die for this." The way Daishinkan said it gave Gogeta a shiver. He then asked what this mission will be. "As things stand now, we won't be able to defeat our enemies," Daishinkan admitted. He then elaborates on the situation. "Chamus and you are powerful, but not powerful enough to deal with all the evil angels. By training the younger ones very well, we can even face the angels. However, not their father, who is extremely powerful. The only one capable of maintaining a fight against him is me, but that will not be possible, since I am using all my energy and vitality to maintain this ceiling. Even if I survive this, I won't be able to utilize my full power for a long period. In other words, even if you manage to defeat the other evil angels, you will not be able to defeat their leader. which means that our defeat is almost certain. Gogeta couldn't help but agree, given the incredible power that the evil Daishinkan demonstrated, proving to be far beyond his limits. He then asks how they can turn this situation around and have any chance of winning. Daishinkan responds that the only way is to have Vegito's help, as that gives them a few more options. But Vegito is dead. How are we going to bring him back? And why did you say that some of us will die? Gogeta asks, wanting to get straight to the point. Daishinkan explains that although Vegito was killed in the dimension that was sealed inside his body, neither Vegito's body nor soul are inside him. In other words, for some reason, his body and soul were taken to another place. Gogeta asks if he knows what this place is. Daishinkan says yes. After a lot of searching, he managed to find out where Vegito is. His body and soul were taken to hell, and they are there now. Gogeta finds this a little curious, since Vegito was one of the good guys, so he shouldn't have gone to hell. Daishinkan explains that probably contact with the evil seed shortly before dying may have corrupted Vegito's soul, and that's why he ended up going to hell. If he was corrupted, that could be a big problem. Gogeta comments, worried. It might not even be a good idea to bring him back. Bulla and Gohan, who were listening to the conversation with the others, protest, not liking the suggestion of leaving their father dead. Daishinkan, on the other hand, does not dissuade Gogeta's reason, agreeing that it is indeed dangerous to bring Vegito back if his soul has been corrupted. But this is the only option he can think of, emphasizing that without Vegito's help, they cannot win. Gogeta asks how they can bring Vegito back. Should we ask King Yema? He suggests. To his surprise, no one there knows who this King Yema is, indicating that in this reality, the process of life after death is a little different. In this reality, there is no intermediary who controls the passage of worlds, or at least no one who is physically accessible. All of this is done by immaterial beings, whose nature even the gods are unaware of. Gogeta asks what they will do then. Chamus responds, saying that they will need to go to hell and get Vegito out of there. Gogeta says that shouldn't be a problem. But Daishinkan disagrees with him and warns that obviously the evil angels know that they are going to try something like this, and that's why they remain on standby, watching hell so that no one gets to Vegito. In short, if we want to bring Vegito back, we are going to need to face all the evil angels left. And not only that, they will possibly bring servants to help, in addition to all the natural difficulties of a place like hell. The Supreme Angel compliments. I understand. This indeed won't be easy. Gogeta agrees. Chamus says that's why they're doing everything they can to prepare others. His children, Gohan and Bulla, have incredible potential, in addition to the powerful machines that Bulma and Android 21 are capable of creating. Daishinkan gets straight to the point, asking Gogeta to train them. Chamus is a very powerful god, but he is not a good master. I am normally a good instructor. However, my health is not helping, so I ask you, Gogeta, to prepare them for the battle to come. Gogeta doesn't like this idea, arguing that taking them into battle against the angels is crazy. Not even Gohan can barely stand a fight against an angel. He beat Vod, but he had considerably below average power. The others have even less chance. It will be a massacre. Beerus don't like hearing this and warn Gogeta not to underestimate them. Champa adds that they are the children of the great god of destruction and powerful blood runs through their veins. Bulla agrees with these two, saying that she also has powerful blood running through her veins, Vegito's blood. Gohan argues that determination and training are all a Saiyan needs to overcome all limits, and Gogeta should know that. Gogeta sighs, irritated by the younger people's stubbornness. Chamus admits that he also doesn't like the idea of exposing his children to such risk and that they are too young for a battle like this. If he had another choice, he would certainly do it differently. Daishinkan completes by arguing that if they don't try, everyone will die anyway, since the evil angels will not leave anyone unpunished. At least this way, there is some chance. Gogeta gives up and agrees to train them. But I will only do this under one condition. If I can prove that they are not capable and make them give up, we will not take them. Everyone agreed. While remembering all that conversation they had earlier, Gogeta now deals with Beerus and Champa, massacring the children of the god of destruction in combat. At this moment, Champa is already on the ground. His arms and legs are broken, making him unable to get up. Beerus is strangled by the Saiyan, who mercilessly crushes his throat. What the angels will do to you is much worse. Give up at once. Gogeta orders. Even in the midst of the violent suffocation he suffers, Beerus finds the strength to deny. I will fight alongside my father and prove that I will be the next god of destruction, he says, showing great firmness and determination despite his voice choking due to the lack of air. Angry, Gogeta throws Beerus hard against the ground and steps on his chest, putting so much weight on his foot that it crushes the young cat warrior's lungs and ribs. Give up! He screams. Beerus now doesn't even have the strength to speak. However, his answer comes in another form, the shooting of an energy wave that hits Gogeta at point-blank range. Unfortunately for Beerus, his weakened offense has no effect. Damn, he says in a fragile voice before passing out. Gohan approaches Gogeta saying he is next. Gogeta kicks Beerus to Champa's side and turns to Gohan. Champa, suffering greatly from his broken bones, asks if Gogeta won't heal them. Wait and suffer a little, Gogeta responds. Take advantage of this time and decide to give up once and for all. Champa becomes very angry and desperate, shouting for Gogeta to cure them at once, like he did with Bulla. Gogeta ignores it, focusing only on Gohan, who looks at him in a way that makes it clear he won't hold back. Gohan focuses his energy, releasing it through an aura of intense ki as he reveals the evolved form of his bestial transformation. Your power has grown considerably since I last saw you, Gogeta says. Gogeta also transforms, revealing his Shinken form. Bulla, now as a spectator, is very attentive, as it is the first time she has seen the Shinken form, being fascinated by that majestic appearance and that power so transcendental that she cannot even understand. Even Champa, who was previously screaming, madly demanding to be cured, is silent in the face of what he sees. Gohan gives Gogeta his bestial look, not intending to back down even in the face of Shinken. In the world of the gods, Chamus is levitating in one of the planet's fields in a meditation posture. He releases intense purple electrical sparks from his body, causing a strong shudder on the planet. A little further away, Daishinkan and Zamasu watch. Zamasu comments that he has never seen Chamus so focused on concentrating his power. This proves his concern because of this whole situation. Daishinkan says that he is taking advantage of Gogeta, going to train others so he can train a little himself. Zamasu wonders if Chamus can get even stronger. I think this a little difficult, as I believe that Lord Chamus has reached the peak of his power, answers the angel. The point is that he hasn't used his maximum power for so long that now he needs to meditate to rediscover how to use all his energy. In other words, what Chamus is doing now is relearning how to control all of his power with total mastery. This will be crucial in the battle to come. I understand, but what about the others? Do you think Gogeta will handle them? Daishinkan says he's sure so. During the time he was in their universe, Gogeta ended up building a friendly relationship with all of them. He truly cares about these kids and will do his best to prepare them, even if that preparation is hard and painful. In fact, it is being painful for Gohan, who at this moment lies kneeling in front of Gogeta with his only remaining arm making an L in the hands of the older Saiyan who mercilessly broke it. This is watched by Bulla, with her heart burning with the desire to go and help her brother, and also for Beerus and Champa, who are still down and in agony because they weren't healed by Gogeta. Gohan screams in pain, remembering the trauma he went through at Zyko's hands. Gogeta already knows how much this situation shakes him and teases. You remember what Zyko did to you, don't you? You are still weak and powerless, just like that time. Give up now, and then you won't have to go through this again. Gohan doesn't let himself fall apart. On the contrary, his desire for power burns more intensely, ordering Gogeta to shut up, while at the same time causing an even greater amount of energy to leave his body, causing Gogeta to move away. It seems that strong emotions are fueling his gain in power. As expected of Gohan, Gogeta observes in thought. Gohan attacks. Unable to use his arm, he uses only his legs, unleashing a sequence of kicks against Gogeta so quick and skillful that his arm barely seems to be missed. Of course, none of this is enough against Gogeta, who with his Shinken form is capable of handling anything Gohan can do. Time to end this, Gogeta exclaims. Moving to Gohan's back after a successful dodge, he hits the young Saiyan squarely behind the neck. His blow is so aggressive that it breaks Gohan's spine, causing him to collapse to the ground, completely paralyzed. Gohan immediately regresses to base form. Bulla desperately flies to her brother. asking if Gogeta has gone crazy. His response is to return to his base form and kick the girl in the face as she kneels next to her brother. When Bulla asks what he's doing, Gogeta says he won't heal Gohan until a blow hits him. Bulla says he's crazy and that her brother could end up dying. Then you better hurry, he retorts. Pointing hus hands at the fallen Beerus and Champa, he heals them both. You two can help. Bulla hurries to transform into Super Saiyan 4, releasing as much power as she can. Beerus and Champa also raise their ki, ready to give everything they have. Sometime later, Bulla, Champa, and Beerus are down. Their breaths were labored and their bodies were full of injuries. At their center is Gogeta, who shows no such tiredness. However, a shallow wound appears on the older Saiyan's cheek. Well, you guys did it? Who would have thought? Gogeta points his hand at Gohan, who was almost dead when he was finally healed. The relief he feels is simply indescribable. Gogeta gives them all a warning. This was just our first day of training. Daishinkan gave us 9 days of training in Great Universe time, which gives us 18 months in this place. Every day of these 18 months will be like this or worse. The good news is that giving up is always an option. So, what do you say? Gohan, Bulla, Beerus, and Champa stand up. They don't respond with words, but with their looks of those who yearn for more power. Gogeta couldn't help but smile. Amidst an agonizing wait and arduous training, time passed. More specifically, 18 months in the training dimension and 9 days in the Great Universe. Groaning, Daishinkan falls to his knees in the planet's fields. His body, previously perfectly clear, now shows several cracks across the skin, making it look like it will give way at any moment. Zamasu approaches to help the angel, wondering how much longer he will be able to endure. Daishinkan says that his limit is finally approaching, which means it's time to act. Chamus approaches. He shows a lot of seriousness in his features, indicating total focus on what is to come. Lord Chamus, so have you finally finished your meditation? For all these days you didn't even move, Zamasu comments. Chamus says he's finally ready. I'm happy to know that you've managed to perfectly master your full power again, Lord Chamus, Daishinkan says, smiling despite the intense pain that affects him. And also, you're not the only one who's ready. Extending one of his hands into the air, Daishinkan makes a dimensional portal open, and from this portal come Gogeta, Gohan, Bulla, Beerus, and Champa. Taking a good look at all of them, Chamus is satisfied, noticing an extraordinary evolution in everyone. But they're not the only ones who are ready. 2 trails of light emerge from the planet's technological center, heading towards them at high speed. It's Android 21 and Bulma, the latter dressed in clearly highly advanced robotic armor. Mom, this is amazing, says Bulla, who, as a scientist, is mesmerized by seeing this technological marvel displayed by her mother. Taking a good look at Android 21, Gogeta comments, "You also seem to have changed in some way. You haven't spent all this time just building things, have you?" Android 21 praises his insight, confirming his suspicion by saying that she and Bulma also took advantage of this time to make improvements to her. But of course, more important than that, we built our own army, Bulma brags. Leaving the technological center and filling the planet's skies, an army of robots reveals itself. Commanding them, the remade extermination team, composed of Super Android 17, Super Android 16, and Super Android 13. In this reality, these androids were never human, so their bodies were recreated even though the originals were completely destroyed. Excited, Bulma says that this is the most powerful army of machines in existence. Gogeta pumps his fists. Come on! Let's make all hell shake! In the vast hell of the Great Universe, a dimension dominated by chaos, a portal opens. From this portal come Gogeta, Chamus, Gohan, Bulla, Beerus, and Champa. Soon after, Android 21 and Bulma leave, accompanied by the extermination team. And lastly, they are accompanied by the large army of robots. So this is hell here. I expected something scarier, Gogeta says. So get ready, because things are about to get more tense, Chamus responds. It doesn't take long for the remaining 12 angels to appear before them, accompanied by an army of diverse creatures, including demons, monsters, beasts, and other types of people, living or dead. They are led by Whis, who gives them a sarcastic welcome. So let's start, Gogeta suggests. Almost in unity, everyone begins to raise their kis, making hell shake. In the next second, a chaotic battle begins. Figures and flashes of light are seen everywhere, a result of the extraordinary speed with which the angels and warriors move. Energy shots are fired from all directions, culminating in explosions of the most diverse proportions. Resulting from the force with which the combatants strike each other, impact explosions of all sizes and intensities can be felt. Thanks to the extremely high amount of ki emanated, an agonizing pressure is generated over the entire place. The most intense and important war this great universe has ever seen has begun. With Bulla, Bulma, and Android 21 at the forefront, the robotic army advances against the army recruited by the angels. The robots and the angels' servants collide with great violence. Some robots end up destroyed with these impacts. In other cases, it is the angel servants who end up having their bodies torn apart by the machines. At the same time, thousands of disputes for survival begin. Both physical fights between the machines and the angel servants and distance confrontations using energy shots, projectiles, and missiles. Many of the servants recruited by the angels do not have enough power to damage the robots' resistant metallic bodies and are easily shot down. On the other hand, other more powerful evil soldiers manage to eliminate several robots. Bulla faces a team of enemy soldiers, using her excellent combat skills to knock them all out with reasonable ease. However, she doesn't see a giant monster approaching and ends up swallowed by its mouth. Fortunately, this is nothing for Vegito's daughter, who releases her energy in a way that explodes the beast from within, her golden hair revealing the Super Saiyan. Bulla sees a group of approaching enemy soldiers eliminated by a large energy blast right behind her. The shot came from his mother, Bulma, who used one of the many powerful weapons in her battle suit. Bulla soon reciprocates her mother's gesture of care, advancing against a monster that was coming from behind her with a flying attack that pushes the creature away, already did from the impact of the blow. It doesn't take a second for another enemy group to approach, this time surrounding the two. Bulla and Bulma stand back to back, firing multiple shots at enemies and eliminating them by one hit. A stronger warrior fires a big wave of energy large enough to swallow them both. Bulla quickly prepares to deal with it. However, Bulma is faster, activating a protective shield that surrounds the two to defend them from the shot. "Mom, this suit is amazing," Bulla praises. "Of course it is. It's my masterpiece," Bulma brags. Angry, the soldier who attacked them prepares to use even more power, but before doing so, he is blown up by an attack from Android 21. Soon after, the android is hit by a sword blow that goes through her back and chest. A blow that would be fatal for many people, but not for Android 21, who only turns her head towards the enemy and explodes his head with an energy attack at close range. More soldiers approach. Android 21 removes the dead enemy's sword from her body and, stretching out her arm, attacks those who approach like a slashing whip, slicing multiple enemies in a fraction of seconds. Amidst the hordes of robots and angelic soldiers, 4 flashes of light move in such a way as to destroy all those in their path as they exchange blows and discharges of energy. When they finally stop, it turns out that they are GOGETA and 3 other evil angels. These angels are Kusu, Juso, and Kacha. GOGETA, even in his Shinken form, is panting and shows some slight injuries. Kusu gives him a smile and a teasing line. "What's the matter, GOGETA? Are you having difficulties?" He receives this provocation with good humor. "Well, I expected that fighting 3 angels wouldn't be easy." Kusu asks why GOGETA doesn't spare them the trouble and gives up once and for all to die. "No thanks. I'd rather eliminate you guys and do what I have to do." He refuses while showing his combat stance. The angels Juso and Kacha stand in front of Kusu, saying that they will fight for now. She agrees. "Do as you wish. The result will be the same in the end," says the Saiyan, his confidence bordering on arrogance. Next to a cluster of angel soldiers and machines, 3 white energy lasers and a purple energy globe collide and ignite a gigantic explosion that takes thousands of soldiers with it at once. Those responsible for this were the god of destruction Chamus and the angels Sour, Mojito, and Margarita. Margarita, alongside her 2 brothers, says that it is incredible that Chamus was able to rival in destructive power against a combined attack from the 3. He smiles when he hears this. "Who do you think I am? I am the one who, for millions of years, has been trained by the great Daishinkan." You can be sure that I will surprise you in many ways. The Hakaishin sees two more angels approaching behind him, Martinu and Kukatail. I hope no one minds us joining you, says Kukatail, sarcastically. Chamus responds confidently and confrontationally. The more the merrier. It's a good thing I don't need to waste time chasing you on the battlefield. The god of destruction of the great universe now finds himself surrounded by 5 evil angels. A 6th angel rushes towards the destroyer. His name is Drom, but Drom can't get to his siblings as Super Android 17 moves in front of him, blocking his path. I think he has enough opponents, don't you? Drom recognizes the android. You are one of Campari's creations, aren't you? I heard that your power was almost on par with his. That guy was another version of me. And unfortunately for you, I'm a little more powerful, 17 adds. Drom prepares to fight, saying this will be interesting. Another angel who stands in front of 2 machines that were originally Campari's creations is Wynek. As far as I know, you weren't my brother's strongest androids. Do you think you can beat me? The evil angel questions, a little indignant. Super Android 16 states that they are not the same as before. Super 13 reaffirms, warning that he better not underestimate them, even though he is an angel. Amidst the frantic fights, Beerus and Champa are approached by Whis, who stares at the pair of brothers with an evil smile. The children of the god of destruction, This will be interesting. Beerus and Champa remain focused, not intending to chicken out. Gohan intends to go and help the 2 younger ones. However, someone approaches him from behind, attempting a deadly blow, which the Saiyan skillfully dodges and immediately retaliates, making whoever attacked him need to retreat to avoid suffering the blow. Looks like we have a cunning fox here, the Saiyan comments. The cunning fox is Rum, who forces an innocent smile, falsely apologizing for it. From the world of the gods, Shinken watches everything that happens through his magic. He is being accompanied by Zamasu. Both are very tense, anxious about the outcome of this battle that has just begun. In agony from the sharp pain caused by all that energy that desperately wants to leave his body, Shinken vehemently hopes that GOGETA and the others can complete this mission as quickly as possible. Like a flaming trail amidst the enemy hordes, Bulla wipes out soldier after soldier subordinate to the evil angels, destroying the servants of evil with her blows and energy blasts. Not far from her, a large explosion kills a few dozen more opponents. The author of this attack is Bulma, who masterfully uses the weapons of her extremely advanced technological suit. Bulma is surrounded by a troop of enemies who shoot blasts and energy balls everywhere, giving no escape. However, Bulma's technological suit has a resistant force field which stops all attacks. Furthermore, the energy of the attacks accumulates in the force field, which, when it reaches its limit, is dissipated in the form of a large explosion of impact that shatters all enemies around her. Another group of enemies surrounds Android 21, also firing dozens of shots at the android simultaneously. Unlike Bulma, 21 does not defend herself, and her body is torn apart. But this was already part of the android's plan, who uses the pieces of her body to imprison her enemies and then reconstitute herself with the powers of all of them added to hers. Gogeta is stunned when he witnesses a scene he never imagined. In front of him, an angel has just magically summoned a large barrel of drink and gets drunk on all this alcohol. Katcha, after consuming a large quantity of a high alcohol drink, makes the empty barrel disappear. With a puffy belch and flushed cheeks, he announces that he is ready to fight. On his side, the angel Juso, with a solemn personality that contrasts with the slovenly personality of his alcoholic brother, feels deeply uncomfortable with Kasha's attitude, saying that it is a shame for an angel to be seen like this. Behind them, intending to observe the fight, Kusu is impatient and tells them to start at once. Katcha is the first to obey, rushing towards Gogeta, attempting a clumsy punch which the Saiyan easily dodges. However, when Gogeta tries to counterattack, he is surprised to see his attack being dodged by a dying movement from the angel, followed by a counterattack that, despite being clumsy, hits Gogeta squarely and hard. Gogeta retreats due to the surprise and pain of the attack, recognizing in this brief physical confrontation that Kacha is a dangerous opponent despite his appearance. Advancing in the form of a dragon of light, Juzo attacks Gogeta with an extremely powerful flying attack from which the Saiyan warrior narrowly escapes, realizing with this single blow the incredible attack power of this angel. Gogeta quickly counterattacks with a barrage of energy spheres. Juzo, using incredibly fluid movements, deflects all of Gogeta's energy spheres using minimal force. He then responds by making a punch in the air, releasing a blast of white energy from his fist that takes the shape of a dragon and snakes towards Gogeta. Gogeta meets the attack, but uses the agile and fluid movements of his Ultra Instinct to dodge the dragon as he approaches Juzo, managing to reach the evil angel by launching a series of attacks. Juzo surprisingly manages to defend himself from Gogeta's blows, showing an impeccable command of martial arts. Kacha arrives soon after, surrounding Gogeta with his brother. On one side, an angel attacks with highly skilled movements. On the other, an angel attacks with completely clumsy but strangely precise movements. In the center, Gogeta tries to defend himself and counterattack as best he can. Chamus is also surrounded by angels. Unlike Gogeta, the Great Universe's God of Destruction faces 5 enemies at once. Kukatail, Margarita, Martinu, Mojito, and Sour attack the God of Destruction with full vigor, using their angelic abilities and numerical advantage to land powerful and precise blows on the Hakaishin. Chamus manages to stay in combat thanks to his great resilience and resistance, also showing great power. Chamus is hit by a hard blow from Kukatail, which is immediately responded to by an even stronger blow that pushes the angel away. Then comes an attack from behind by Margarita, who is shooed away when the destroyer turns around with an even more powerful counterattack. Then a blast of energy from Martinu and Sour hits him at the same time on both sides, countered by a double shot of energy from Chamus, which swallows the energies of the 2 angels and hits them. And when Mojito comes forward preparing a blow, Chamus uses his great brute strength to block a devastating punch from the angel, who, after being stopped, is knocked away by a blow from the destroyer. In a synchronized attack, Kukatail, Sour, Margarita, and Mojito summon their magic staffs and throw magic ropes at the opponent, which ensnare Chamus's arms and legs. Martinu, concentrating all her angelic energy in one of her fists, flies towards him to launch a blow containing her full power. When Martinu is very close, Chamus opens his mouth to blast her with a large amount of destruction energy, powerful enough to eliminate any angel. The problem is that Martinu was already expecting something like this, and the one that came in front of the destroyer was just a mirage. The real Martinu comes from behind, about to land that killing blow. But Chamus is aware of the sagacity of angels, and already expecting something like this, he uses his incredible control of the power of destruction to form a shield of destruction energy on his back, a technique called Hakai Shield. When Martinu launches her attack, her angelic energy clashes with all its might against the energy shield of destruction, culminating in a massive explosion that hits her, Chamus, and the other surrounding angels. The result is the total destruction of Martinu, and minor injuries to the other 4 angels who were a little further away. However, the result is not entirely positive for the God of Destruction, who, having received that explosion at close range, is reasonably injured despite having previously prepared himself to receive damage. One less. Despite his injuries and fatigue, Chamus apparently celebrates with a smile, in contrast to the savage smile of the God of Destruction Chamus. The angel Wynek emits a graceful smile as he dodges Super Android 16 and Super Android 13's attacks with equally graceful movements. Completely at odds with his brutish appearance, the evil angel uses fluid and smooth rhythmic movements, like those of a ballerina, to dodge the attacks of the androids, who deal with such movements with difficulty due to their robotic fighting styles. Amid agile and delicate turns, Wynek moves his body in a way that avoids and deflects the blows of 16 and 13, also using these same turns to generate powerful counterattacks that, with each hit, damage more and more the bodies of the attacker's androids. Super Android 13 fires several energy spheres at Wynek. Spinning like a top, the angel counters the shots with powerful kicks that return energy against Super 13, who deflects some shots, dodges others, but is hit by many. Super Android 16 discharges multiple waves of energy towards the angel, who moves beautifully to dodge while mocking the android's predictable and robotic attacks. Together, Beerus and Champa launch energy waves at Whis. The angel meets their joint attack without much concern, forcing the energies of the two brothers with his body and reaching them, grabbing their faces and hitting their heads, stunning them, and then throwing both against the ground. Even just receiving these few attacks from Whis, Beerus and Champa are already considerably injured. Whis says he's a little disappointed with them, admitting that he expected a little more from the children of the great god of destruction Chamus. Beerus and Champa feel their pride hurt by this and say that Whis hasn't seen anything yet. Beerus tells Champa that there's no point in holding back fighting an angel, so they should use full power. Champa is a little reluctant, remembering that GOGETA said they couldn't use that power for a long time. Beerus says he remembers it very well, but either they use it or they'll be killed in an instant. Having no other option, Champa ends up agreeing. Beerus and Champa then begin to evoke all the energy they have, causing a dense aura of destructive power to emanate from their bodies that causes everything around to be destroyed. Whis notes that they can also use the power of a god of destruction and admits that this made him a little more interested. Now Beerus and Champa, in addition to displaying the aura of destruction around them, show a new transformation. The young warriors promise that, for their father's honor, Whis will be utterly destroyed. Gohan and Rum cross the skies of hell at great speed while firing multiple energy blasts at each other. Rum, no matter how hard she tries, finds herself at a disadvantage in the face of the Saiyan's bestial power, who shows an attack capacity that she cannot deal with very well despite using her angelic abilities. Reaching Rum with his blows, Gohan punishes her mercilessly, hitting the angel all over her body and making her suffer with each attack received. Rum finds an opening to retreat, breathing heavily, showing injuries all over her body. She says that Gohan is definitely not the same one who faced Vod and Zyko. He agrees with her, saying that recently he went through the hardest training of his life, and all the suffering he went through at Gogeta's hands forged a new warrior. Rum admits that she can't beat him with raw power alone. However, she smiles. Why that smile? Do you intend to bluff? Gohan asks. But she says she's not bluffing, and that he's underestimating the fact that an angel's powers can go far beyond simple brute strength. Rum summons her staff and quickly heals from all injuries. Are you referring to the ability to heal yourself? Don't worry, in my next attack I will kill you before you have the chance to do so, the Saiyan says. Rum, maintaining a confrontational smile, responds that she is not just referring to this power. Do you know what my nickname is among my sibling angels? She asks. Gohan says he doesn't know and he doesn't care. At that moment, Rum is consumed by a strong energy that radiates in the form of a blinding light. And when this strong light is dissipated, it reveals a truly surprising shape. I am known as the Angel of Beauty and Doom, she informs him, a teasing smile on her face and provocative clothes showing off a sexy body. Gohan's eyes remain wide open as he stares at his opponent, unable to avoid looking at her, as if he were hypnotized. Rum goes on the attack. Gohan quickly reacts by pointing his hand at her with the intention of launching a strong energy attack. However, to his shock, his energy simply does not leave his body. Gohan takes Rum's hit hard, wondering what the hell is happening to him. Gogeta, surrounded by Juso and Kacha being attacked all the time, feels the pressure increasing. Despite the difference in fighting style, both are incredibly dangerous in their own way. He needs to think quickly to get out of this unfavorable situation. His eyes shine with determination as he channels his ki to the maximum, forming an intense aura around him. With a powerful scream, Gogeta releases a blast of energy, forcing Juso and Kacha to retreat momentarily. Taking advantage of the gap, he launches himself against Juso, using a series of quick and precise attacks. The problem is that Juso reacts with equal precision, using impeccable technique to deal with Gogeta's blows. Among all the sons of Daishinkan, I am the one who has mastered martial arts best. You will not defeat me using just any fighting technique, Gogeta, Juso says, confident of his abilities. Juso advances against Gogeta using highly skilled and precise strikes. Gogeta dodges with difficulty, but Juso is relentless. His martial skills are at an extremely high level, and Gogeta realizes that the angel's every movement is calculated to be lethal. Each blow is dodged by Gogeta by the skin of his teeth, and he feels the weight of the fight increasing. Suddenly, Kacha, with his unpredictable approach, returns to the fight, staggering in a seemingly uncoordinated but surprisingly efficient manner. A clumsy punch hits Gogeta square in the face, followed by a kick that sends him staggering back. Gogeta finds himself at an impasse. His enemies are two angels who, in addition to being very powerful, are extremely skilled. If I raise my ki even higher and use more power, I can beat them. However, this would require a high expenditure of energy, and I will certainly have tough battles ahead, which means that I cannot exhaust myself too much in this fight. But how can I beat them without using more power? In the midst of so many questions asked by himself, Gogeta finally has an idea. He smiles and tells the two angels that he already knows what to do. Gogeta inhales deeply and then releases all the air while taking a peculiar combat stance. When Juso comes to attack, Gogeta skillfully defends his blow with a different technique than the ones he used before, and then counterattacks with a palm strike. Juso dodges the blow by millimeters. However, strangely, he is hit by a great energetic force that not only crushes his muscles, but also seems to penetrate even his internal organs. After that, another attack from Gogeta comes. This is directly blocked by the angel's arms. However, once again a current of strength and energy passes through his muscles and reaches beyond the angel's bones, who is pushed by the impact force of the blow. Juso asks what's going on and why Gogeta's attacks are hurting him deeply without even hitting. This is the Hyuga Taijutsu style, Gogeta responds. It's a very special style of combat that I had the opportunity to learn in the last reality I was in. At a time when Goku used his extremely evolved telepathy through Shinken to transmit a speech from the angel Konyak to everyone's minds, he also had access to the memories of all those people. Since Son Goku is part of me, I also have access to those memories. Juso has already realized what Gogeta is getting at and wonders if he is trying to say that Goku learned the skills of all those people whose minds he had access to. Gogeta replies that no, Goku couldn't learn the skills of all those people because his Shinken isn't developed to that point. However, due to the enhanced Shinken resulting from fusion, he is able to utilize those skills. In other words, you might be the most skilled martial artist among the evil angels, but unfortunately for you, I have techniques you never dreamed of seeing. Kasha arrives inadvertently, attacking with his clumsy and unpredictable movements. However, to the evil angel's surprise, Gogeta quickly changes the way he moves, presenting equally drunken movements to dodge the angel's blows and retaliate with equal unpredictability. I also learned a similar technique from a guy I met there, Gogeta warns, irritating the angel duo. Kusu, who so far only watches his fight, observes these new revelations from Gogeta with concern, concluding that he is now more unpredictable than ever. With his body spilling sweat and blood, the god of destruction of the great universe continues his fierce combat against the quartet of angels that confront him. Tense muscles and heavy breathing betray Chamus's physical exhaustion. In contrast, his uncompromising expression shows a steely determination to continue fighting. Sour, with his blinding speed, launches himself at him, throwing punches and kicks that Chamus can barely keep up with. Each blow seems faster and heavier than the last, forcing him to maintain a constant defense and withstand each attack made by the evil enemy with difficulty. Kukatail, on the other hand, attacks from a distance with blast after blast of energy. His attacks are precise, targeting Chamus's weak points while he is distracted by Sour. Margarita, with her grace and agility, attacks from the sides, taking advantage of any opening in Chamus's defense. She uses her staff, which magically extends and retracts like a whip, targeting Chamus at vital points and forcing him to constantly move. Mojito, with his brutal power, advances with devastating blows. His fists feel like hammers, each impact making the entire place shake. Chamus feels the pressure increasing by the second, his willpower being tested to the limit. Chamus gathers energy in his hands, forming a purple sphere. He throws the sphere towards Sour, but Margarita intercepts it with an energy shield. The resulting explosion was intense, although not enough to knock out any of his opponents. Saiyan takes advantage of the distraction and advances with even greater speed, punching Chamus directly in the stomach, making him double over in pain. Huga launches a blast of energy directly at Chamus' chest, knocking him backwards and slamming the destroyer into the ground. Before Chamus can get up, Mojito is on him, raising a massive fist and bringing it down hard. Chamus manages to roll to the side at the last second, avoiding the blow that left a crater in the ground where he had been moments before. By evoking his magical staff, Saiyan causes him to be overcome by a strong light, which is nothing more than the angel's very powerful energy, radiating in the form of a spear of pure power that takes his entire arm, transforming the angel's own limb into a weapon of massive piercing power. Having such attack power, Saiyan launches his final blow, seeking to take advantage of the difficulty Chamus is experiencing in the fight. Seeing the enemy's approach, Chamus needs to prepare quickly, emanating his power with great intensity, accumulating as much strength as he can in his hands, which are now enveloped in his energy of destruction. The powerful Hakaishin simply grabs Saiyan's energy spear. The speed and devastating force with which the angel attacks carries them both millions of light years across the infernal ground, leaving a trail of astronomical proportions in that gigantic dimension. However, the effort was worth it. Despite his hands being soaked in blood and his chest having been moderately pierced, Chamus managed to stop Saiyan's attack in time to avoid being killed. Saiyan is shocked, saying that it's impossible for Chamus to have stopped his most powerful attack with just his bare hands. Chamus says the only thing impossible is for Saiyan to survive from now on. Using colossal strength, the god of destruction breaks Saiyan's energetic spear, tearing off part of the evil angel's arm with pure brute force to brutally pierce his chest with his own limb. Having his chest, lungs, heart, spine, and back shattered, Saiyan becomes inert. Chamus then finishes the evil angel off with a Hakai that makes his entire body disappear. Another angel is dead. However, this feat required a great effort from the god of destruction, who falls to his knees due to exhaustion. Upon reaching him, Huga, Margarita, and Mojito are briefly stunned by the sudden loss of another sibling. This hesitation, however small, gives Chamus a brief moment of respite and renewed hope of victory. Breathing heavily, Chamus rises once more, still finding himself surrounded by enemies. Using his prodigious combat skill, Juso attacks GOGETA with all the martial arts prowess an angel can display. The problem is that GOGETA now proves himself at a level beyond, adding all the mastery of Ultra Instinct enhanced by Shinken to the style of the Huga clan, countering each blow from the evil angel with even more forceful blows that damage the enemy internally. Kacha also becomes frustrated in front of GOGETA, seeing his drunken style being surpassed by even more flashy movements from the Saiyan, who combines all of the drunken Rock Lee's instinctive ability with his Ultra Instinct, culminating in highly instinctive and unpredictable movements with which the angel can't compete. Cursing GOGETA, Juso orders his brother to move away while doing the same thing, firing several light lasers at the Saiyan that close around GOGETA in the form of a rotating explosive tornado. GOGETA's defense is also a rotational movement, a spiral of energy generated from the frantic spinning of the Saiyan's body. 8 trigrams. Palm revolving heaven. GOGETA announces the name of the technique as soon as he finishes it in a successful save. He then takes a peculiar stance and pronounces the name of his next attack. 8 trigrams, 64 million palms, elevating the Hyuga clan's technique to levels far beyond. GOGETA reaches Juso at a high speed to the point that the angel is unable to retreat to deliver an absolutely absurd number of blows. With his fists moving many times faster than light, GOGETA launches an incredible 64 million blows against the evil angel, who is shot by every attack without being able to offer any reaction. Juso has his skin, muscles, bones, and internal organs destroyed in the face of GOGETA's endless attacks, which begin to literally tear his extremely resistant angelic body apart. When he reaches the last blow, GOGETA hits Juso's head, which is all he has left, and is completely destroyed in the palm of the Saiyan's hand. Kacha takes the opportunity to attack from behind. Unfortunately for the angel, he is unsuccessful, being hit by a kick from GOGETA and thrown into the air. After throwing the angel into the air, Gogeta disappears at high speed and reappears on his back, tying Kacha's entire body with his arms. And then, Gogeta begins to spin frantically, taking the form of a tornado of light that hurtles towards the ground. The clash between the tornado of power and the infernal ground is monstrous, generating an explosion of impact and energy so overwhelming that it makes that entire dimension rattle and creates a colossal crater in the ground. At the bottom of this crater of abyssal proportions, Gogeta remains intact, while Kacha no longer has the entire upper part of his body, which gave way upon impact. Gogeta now looks up, seeing the third angel who was ready to face him descend into this crater. "Finally, you got tired of watching and came," he says to Kusu. Kusu concentrates her evil power, which explodes and gives her a new appearance, showing the true evil side of that fragile and innocent-looking angel. And not only that, the power that Kusu exudes now is truly terrifying, more than that of any other angel Gogeta has met so far. "So this is your true face. I already imagined that behind this harmless appearance, a real monster was hidden." Gogeta comments and takes his combat stance, not hiding his tension. Kusu tells Gogeta to prepare, because now he will face Daishinkan's eldest daughter. With the release of the true nature of Daishinkan's first daughter, this evil energy reaches the deepest layer of hell, where a being containing even more diabolical power currently resides, dormant. Aroused by such evil in the form of power, this beast of darkness opens its eyes. After revealing her special transformation that shows his true face and evil energy, Kusu warns Gogeta to prepare, because now he will face Daishinkan's firstborn daughter. Gogeta does as she says, positioning himself for combat. However, instead of showing fear or tension, he smiles with excitement, telling her to do her worst. Kusu, with a malevolent smile, raises her hand and a dark aura begins to surround her, growing in intensity. Dark energy pulses around her, transforming the environment. With a quick movement, Kusu disappears from sight, suddenly appearing behind Gogeta. He, however, already anticipates the movement and turns around in time to block the attack with his forearm. The impact is overwhelming, causing an explosion of energy that momentarily knocks them away. Gogeta, wasting no time, launches a ki blast towards Kusu, who deftly dodges it, moving in for a counterattack. She strikes with a sequence of quick kicks and punches, each one packed with devastating force. Gogeta defends himself with agility, countering some of the blows and dodging others. The battle unfolds at breakneck speed. Gogeta, in one fluid movement, manages to grab Kusu's arm during one of her attacks, pulling her in for a direct blow to the abdomen. Kusu gasps in pain, but quickly regains her balance, spinning in the air and launching a sphere of black energy towards Gogeta. Gogeta crosses his arms, forming an energy shield to protect himself. The resulting explosion is enormous, creating a crater on the battlefield. Then, they both move forward at the same time, colliding in the center with a force that causes the ground to shake, and the dust that rose up around because of the explosion to dissipate. The exchange of blows resumes, and Gogeta immediately realizes that Kusu is indeed a level beyond the other angels he has faced so far. Kusu extends one of her arms while wrapping it around a scythe of dark energy to attack the Saiyan with a sequence of cuts. To escape the fatal attacks, Gogeta makes his body turn into smoke at the exact moment the dark energy scythe hits him, as he saw Smoker do when he was in the reality of ninjas and pirates, and also as he saw the monster Hirudegarn do a while ago. After avoiding the worst attacks, Gogeta begins to fight back by forming a key sword in his hand to counter the scythe's attacks, thus starting a duel of blades against Kusu. Surprisingly, Gogeta wields the sword like a true master swordsman, catching Kusu off guard with all this mastery and managing to land some shallow cuts, which are only not worse thanks to the angel's dodging skills. Seeing her disadvantage in this type of confrontation, Kusu moves away while covering her recoil by firing multiple spheres of energy at Gogeta, who deftly deflects them all with his sword. Annoyed, Kusu undoes her scythe and asks how he can be so skilled in wielding swords if until today she only knew of him fighting using his fists. Gogeta says that Goku and Vegeta had the opportunity to meet good swordsmen recently, so he had access to their skills. Motivated by irritation, Kusu raises her evil ki even further. Gogeta decides to return to fighting with his fists and cancels the energy sword. Gohan is thrown back by the impact of Ram's attack, his body plowing through a series of rock formations before stabilizing in the air. He struggles to catch his breath, his eyes still fixed on his opponent. Her transformation seems to have an inexplicable effect on him, and he cannot understand why his body does not respond to his brain's attack commands. Rum slowly approaches, her presence exuding an irresistible aura. "Are you starting to understand, Gohan?" she asks, her voice filled with a mixture of sweetness and danger. "My power is not just physical. As the Angel of Beauty and Doom, I possess the ability to influence the minds and emotions of my opponents." Gohan tries to shake his head to clear his thoughts, but the feeling of being hypnotized remains. "Is this mind manipulation?" he asks, confusion evident in his tone. Something like, Rum responds with an enigmatic smile. "My appearance is not just for show. It is a weapon capable of destabilizing the concentration of my enemies, weakening them from the inside out." Gohan clenches his fists, trying to focus his energy again. He says no matter what trick Rum uses, he will win. Rum laughs softly, her laugh echoing across the skies of hell. She moves forward again, moving with an almost supernatural grace. This time, Gohan tries to block her attacks, but his movements are slow and uncoordinated, as if he is fighting a fog in his mind. Rum seizes the opportunity, delivering a series of quick, precise blows, each hitting a vital spot and causing intense pain. "You can be strong, Gohan," Rum murmurs, her voice close to his ear as she hits him with a powerful knee. But brute strength isn't everything in a battle. Gohan struggles to his feet, his body aching and his mind in turmoil. He knows he needs to find a way to free himself from Rum's influence, but he can't think clearly. Bulla exchanges blows against a group of enemy soldiers when she sees her brother in trouble. This brief moment of distraction is enough for the angel soldiers to surround her and attempt a joint attack from all directions. Of course, this is nothing for Vegito's daughter, who disappears from where she is almost as fast as a teleport, leaving all opponents to hit nothing but air. She reappears above them with a globe of power that, when launched, crushes them all at once. After that, Bulla hurries to fly out of there. Gohan fights with all his might, however, Ram's influence over his mind continues to hinder his movements and thoughts. He is hit repeatedly by the angel's precise and cruel blows. This is about to change when a powerful beam of energy crosses the battlefield towards Ram, forcing the angel to quickly dodge and move away from Gohan. The person responsible for this was his half-sister, Bulla. Floating in the air, her aura shining brightly now revealing Super Saiyan 4. Bulla arrives at Gohan's side scolding him. "After everything you've been through, would you really be defeated by a trick like that?" Gohan feels embarrassed in a way and apologizes. As she approaches them, Rum shows some irritation, complaining about being interrupted. Bulla says that from now on, she will be Rum's opponent. Gohan disapproves, asking if she can fight an angel alone. Bulla says that Rum doesn't seem to be that powerful, excluding her weird ability. Gohan agrees, noting that Rum's overall power is not that much greater than Vod's power, who was the weakest among all the evil angels. Still, he insists that Bulla won't be able to defeat her alone. Bulla ends up giving in and agreeing. She then asks her brother, "Hey Gohan, go at once and look for someone who can help me in this fight." Gohan finally decides to do as she says and leaves in a hurry. Bulla moves forward to attack Ram, starting the confrontation. Already in the first exchanges of blows, the disadvantage of the Saiyan woman is noticeable. In another part of the battlefield, an uneven fight takes place between the angel Waynek and the two androids Super 16 and Super 13. Waynek's dancing movements, although bordering on the ridiculous, are perfectly effective compared to the robotic movements of the two androids, who have all their blows gently dodged or deflected amidst the angel's graceful spins. Such spins while resulting in smooth dodges and defenses, also manifest themselves in powerful counterattacks propelled by the power acquired at the end of each turn performed in Wynek's true battle dance. Super Android 13 concentrates a huge amount of power in his hands in the form of an energy sphere that he throws with all his strength against Wynek. The Angel's reaction comes with a spin followed by a kick that deflects the attack towards Super Android 16, who needs to use his arms to defend himself from the allied fire, being hit by a huge explosion. Wynek then counterattacks, spinning like a tornado of light towards Super Android 13, reaching the battle machine at a speed that makes it impossible for the robot to react, and finishing his spin with an extremely powerful kick that simply shatters the body of Super Android 13. As soon as the smoke that surrounded him after the explosion of the energy sphere launched by Super 13 dissipates, Super 16 already sees Wynek in front of him, finishing a spin ready to land a probably fatal kick. At the last moment, Gohan intervenes, arriving as fast as light in front of Super 16 to block Wynek's kick, thus stopping the Angel's attack and saving the android. With his attack thwarted, Wynek retreats. Super 16 asks why Gohan intervened. Gohan says that he will fight this angel from now on and asks Super 16 to help Bulla. You are a complete machine, therefore you have no human feelings, right? You are perfect to help Bulla against Rum. The more blows are exchanged, the more Bulla finds it difficult to continue the fight, having all of her attacks avoided by Rum while most of her counterattacks hit her. At one point, Rum escapes a blow from Bulla and almost instantly moves to her back, grabbing her in a very suggestive hug. With the enemy's touch, Bulla momentarily feels her body weaken, and this weakening becomes more pronounced as Rum brings her face closer to the Saiyan's ear, speaking softly in her ear with the intention of bewitching her. Rum says Bulla must have thought she would resist her power because she is a woman. If this is the case, she could not be more wrong, as her charms work regardless, as they have direct power over human feelings. Unfortunately for her, Bulla counters by exploding her ki in a way that pushes the evil angel back. Rum asks how she is able to resist like this. Bulla explains that she is a scientist and has always preferred to adhere to logic and reason over feelings and pleasures. Even though it's not easy for her, her mind is somehow conditioned to resist this kind of thing. Their conversation is interrupted when Rum notices a beam of light approaching from behind, and she quickly dodges, letting the attack pass straight through. That ray of light was Super Android 16, who stops next to Bulla after being dribbled by Rum. Bulla is pleased to see the ally that Gohan sent, because as this android has no human feelings, it is the perfect resistance to the evil angel's enchantments. It doesn't matter if my enchantments work or not, I will crush both of you with my power, Rum threatens, making her irritation evident. Bulla and 16 stand ready. She says she never imagined fighting side by side with Super 16, as his old version gave her a hard time when they faced each other in the past. Well, it doesn't matter now. Let's put an end to this slut angel, the Saiyan woman concludes. The vigor of the fight between Gogeta and Kusu only increases. They move so fast that they are not visible to the eyes of even extremely powerful beings, leaving only traces of energy in their wake. The sound of the impacts of their blows reverberates across the battlefield like thunder in a raging storm. Kusu raises her power even further. Her hands glow with a dark, pulsating energy. She creates several energy spheres around herself and launches them towards Gogeta in a storm of attacks. Gogeta, without hesitation, begins to dodge the spheres with precise movements, using his speed to avoid each explosion. He responds with a series of attacks, launching ki blasts and charging with powerful punches and kicks. Kusu blocks and counterattacks with an impressive technique, creating a blade of energy that cuts through the air towards Gogeta. He narrowly avoids it, but the blade passes so close that it opens a superficial cut on his arm, quickly healed by the Shinken warrior. He crosses his arms in front of his chest, concentrating an immense amount of energy to launch a Big Bang Kamehameha. A huge wave of bright blue energy hurtles towards Kusu, who quickly raises her hands to create a barrier of black energy. The collision between the two energies creates a monumental explosion, lighting up the battlefield and throwing both combatants backwards. Kusu raises her arms to the sky, summoning a pillar of dark energy that descends upon her, revitalizing her strength and increasing her power. "Infernal energy is food for a daughter of darkness like me," she says. "It seems that your contact with evil is even greater than that of the other angels. Darkness indeed resides powerfully in your being," Gogeta comments, observing his enemy. The Saiyan crosses his arms and begins to concentrate his inner energy, radiating the luminous power of the Shinken, seeking to subdue the oppression of Kusu's ki with his own ki. Margarita launches multiple energy lasers in a coordinated attack. Chamus is forced to dodge and block with all his remaining strength, but he still can't avoid all the shots. Each blast of energy causes more damage to his already heavily damaged body, tearing his skin and clothes. Kukatail, seeing an opening, launches a combo attack. His hands light up with intense energy, and he fires a concentrated blast directly at Chamus's heart. The impact is crushing, causing the god of destruction to scream in pain and be pushed back. Mojito seizes the opportunity and charges forward with a roar, raising both fists and bringing them down with titanic force. Chamus can barely raise his arms to block, and the impact throws him to the ground, creating a deep crater. Flying over the large hole and seeing its bottom, the angels see the god of destruction lying face down, motionless. They wonder if the destroyer has reached his limit yet. The answer is no. Despite the difficulties, Chamus once again stands up. Mojito gets angry at this, complaining that even though he's being hit by such powerful attacks, this guy keeps getting up. Margarita is already showing signs of tiredness. On the other hand, she ends up letting out an admiring smile, stating that this guy is a tough nut to crack and truly worthy of the God of Destruction title. Kukatail emphasizes that, as admirable as this resistance is, it won't last much longer. In contrast to all his tiredness and injuries, Chamus shouts at his enemies, telling them to bring it on because he's just getting started. At the same time that in one place on the battlefield, the god of destruction proves his unbreakable determination before Mojito, Kukatail, and Margarita. In another place, his children do the same before Whis. Beerus and Champa, now covered by an intense aura of destructive power following the revelation of their new transformations, advance with a speed and strength never seen before in these two, impressing even Whis. Beerus appears first, firing a powerful blast of purple energy that pierces the air, while Champa, in an equally agile move, appears behind Whis, delivering a devastating blow. Whis dodges Beerus's blast with a slight movement and blocks Champa's punch with one hand. Beerus and Champa team up to attack simultaneously. Whis, in turn, dodges and counterattacks with stupendous speed. The brothers, in perfect harmony, manage to pressure the evil angel, alternating between physical attacks and blasts of destructive energy. Beerus concentrates energy into his hands, forming a sphere of pure destruction. Champa, realizing his brother's strategy, does the same. The two launch their spheres simultaneously, creating a huge explosion that makes the ground shake and the sky darken. Not expecting such intensity from these two's attack, Whis is momentarily enveloped by the destructive energy. The brothers waste no time and, in a synchronized movement, attack with a combination of blunt physical blows. Champa delivers a powerful punch to the abdomen, and Beerus simultaneously lands a kick to the ribs. Taking advantage of the moment, Beerus and Champa move away, still immersed in their auras of destruction, to channel all the power into their arms and discharge powerful energy torrents that hit the opponent, creating a whirlwind of destructive energy, resulting in an explosion of colossal scales. After giving their all in this offensive, the twins pant. Regardless, they are happy to have succeeded, or at least they thought they did. The brothers' expectations are frustrated when Whis emerges from the explosions without major damage, and the only side effect of all those attacks is a slight expression of surprise on the angel's face. Whis praises the duo, admitting that he didn't expect such young warriors to have so much power. The problem is that their opponent is him, and they are still a long way from offering him any risk. Whis adjusts his posture and with a quick movement appears between the two brothers, striking them with an almost imperceptible speed. Beerus and Champa are thrown back and sent to the floor. They get up with difficulty, unable to hide their tiredness and desolation. It doesn't take more than a few seconds for them to lose their transformations. Beerus notes that their time is up and laments. Champa starts to whine, saying that Whis is going to kill them this way. Beerus seems more resigned, saying that at least they did the best they could. Champa doesn't accept this and retorts saying that they still have something to do. Beerus don't like that at all. Going back in time a little, more precisely to the younger people's training period with Gogeta, in the dimension where time passes more slowly, Beerus and Champa just finished a training match with Gogeta. They are both very tired and injured, and Gogeta looks a little pensive and also satisfied. It was at this point in training that Beerus and Champa showed their new transformations for the first time, which surprised Gogeta positively. Those transformations you guys just used are incredible. The increase in power you had was extraordinary. Exalts the most experienced warrior. He then makes his comments and observations. The problem is that such an exponential increase in power wears your body down a lot. To control this well enough to not have such a high energy cost, it will take some time. And you don't have that time until the fight to come. You need to avoid using these transformations, because once you transform, you will only last a short time in battle, and then you will no longer be able to fight. Use these new powers only when strictly necessary. Beerus and Champa are discouraged when they hear this and ask if there is another way for them to progress and last longer during the battle. Gogeta says there is a way, which is fusion. With this technique, you will add and multiply your powers to levels far beyond what you could achieve alone. You have similar power levels, in addition to being twin brothers. Therefore, you are compatible in many aspects. I see no reason why a very powerful fusion wouldn't result from you. Beerus and Champa don't really like the idea of merging. Gogeta insists on at least teaching them the technique in case it becomes necessary at some point. Returning to the present time, Champa says that this moment of need has arrived and they need to do this at once or they will die. Beerus, very grumpy, accepts. Champa raises his hands and uses his mental strength to lift a curtain of dust. Whis asks why they are doing this and warns that they won't be able to escape him. He extends one of his hands and releases a blast of power against the boys. However, he is amazed to see his energy being completely repelled by a true hurricane of power that expands. Startled, Whis quickly realizes that a being of great power has just been born in that place. Not only Whis realizes this, but everyone present on that immense battlefield. A new being that masters the energy of destruction appears, and he names himself Champus. Whis is on alert with the appearance of this new opponent, putting himself in a combat stance again, this time with a much more serious look. Bulla advances against Rum, launching a series of quick punches and kicks, none of which hit the evil angel, who proves to be superior in technique and agility. Super Android 16 takes advantage of the gap left by Bulla's movements and fires a powerful beam of energy towards Rum. She dodges easily, however, 16 doesn't give up and continues forward with a strong punch. Rum stops the blow using only one hand. Bulla appears on the opposite side, throwing a punch energized with the Super Saiyan Force Flaming Ki. Rum also stops this blow, with a single squeeze causing the fiery energy to extinguish from the youngest warrior's fist. With a slight movement, she throws Bulla away, causing the Saiyan to collide violently with the ground. Super 16 makes a direct attack, his hands transforming into cannons that unleash a hail of explosions. Rum deftly avoids it, moving in a zigzag pattern to dodge each blast. Even so, some explosions graze her, causing slight burns to her angelic skin. She reaches Super 16, ready to land a powerful blow. Bulla intervenes, taking to the skies with a strong upward punch that Rum needs to dodge by retreating from her attempted attack against Super 16. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Super 16 fires an energy blast from his arm cannons, directing it directly at Rum. She tries to dodge, but the proximity of the attack makes it impossible to avoid completely. The beam hits her shoulder, making her scream in pain and rage. Bulla follows with a spinning kick, hitting the side of Rum's head and sending her staggering away. Powering up one of his arms to the maximum, Super 16 lunges with an extremely powerful punch, which Rum is unable to block, without being knocked off balance by the impact of the blow. Bulla wastes no time and, exploiting the opening, discharges a powerful wave of energy directly into Rum's chest. The evil angel is thrown backwards, sliding across the floor. She slowly gets up and is startled to see blood running from her mouth. Rum is visibly shaken at the sight of her own blood, questioning how these worms dare harm her beautiful body. Angry, she approaches with impressive speed, focusing on Bulla. Super 16 interferes, placing himself in front of the ally, trying a series of energy blasts against the enemy. Rum dodges with supernatural agility until she finally comes to Super 16 with furious counterattacks, saying that if he insists, she will finish him first. Bulla tries to intervene, launching a wave of ki to divert Rum's attention, but the angel moves quickly, dodging Bulla's attack and continuing her offensive against Super 16. Rum then gathers power in her hands, creating a pulsating black sphere. Before Super 16 can react, she throws the sphere straight at his chest. The explosion is intense, involving Super 16. He is thrown back, falling to his knees, his metallic body visibly damaged. Sparks fly from his joints. Bulla shouts, running towards her ally. Before she can approach him, her path is blocked by a giant magical wall generated by Rum. "Not so fast," she says, with an angelic cruel smile. Rum turns to deliver a final blow to Super Android 16, an intense discharge of energy propagated in the form of a wave of power that destroys Super 16's entire body without leaving any trace of his existence. Bulla curses Rum, who responds with a satisfied expression and states that she's the next. In the world of the gods, intense pain affects Daishinkan, punishing his body to the point that his skin cracks more and more, causing the angel to scream and moan in agony beside him. Zamasu no longer knows what to do. Daishinkan says that they need to end this as quickly as possible, since soon the evil energy of the evil seed will begin to leak intensely from his body. Zamasu says that unfortunately, this doesn't seem to be close to the end, much less with a resolution in their favor. If it continues like this, I will need to do that thing, says the god of creation of the great universe, referring to something that, from his expression, he certainly does not want to do. Rum dodges a punch from Bulla and lands a violent kick to her stomach, making the Saiyan double over in pain. Before Bulla can recover, Rum grabs her by the hair and slams her into the ground with brutal force. When Bulla tries to get up, Rum is already on her, targeting her with a sequence of fast and powerful punches that leave her stunned and bloody. "You're finished," proclaims Rum, pulling the Saiyan by her hair again and lifting her off the ground. The angel fires a blast of energy directly at Bulla's chest, throwing her backwards, lying on the ground, panting. Every breath is an effort, her body sore and covered in wounds. Rum slowly approaches, her eyes full of triumph. "You have nothing left. Give up." She extends her hand to her fallen enemy and, saying goodbye, executes the final attack. However, mysteriously, Rum's energy is defended by something, being bounced in other directions and not reaching the target. The person responsible for this was Bulma, who has just defended her daughter with an energy shield from her technological suit. "You're wrong," Bulma responds to Rum. "She still has her mother." Bulma points her hand and fires a large energy torrent at Rum, which is also defended with an energy shield created by the angel. Bulla despairs when she sees her mother there, and screams at her to back down immediately, as she is not capable of dealing with an angel, even with this advanced suit. Bulma says she can never think of backing down when her daughter is about to be killed. "How touching," Rum says sarcastically, "but I will have no mercy. I will destroy both of you without hesitation." Bulma prepares for the clash. "You will not touch my daughter, you vulgar woman." "Vulgar woman!" Rum repeats what was said to her, indignant. Bulma projects herself against Rum, propelled by powerful jets of energy released by her suit's boots, while through the suit's hands she fires several energized attacks. Rum deflects each of the shots with her bare hands until when Bulma reaches her, she uses her forearm to stop a punch from the woman, which, thanks to the power of the technological suit, surprises the angel with its power. Bulla tries her best to stay on her feet, only to fall to her knees the next moment, her willpower overwhelmed by the various wounds and injuries all over her body. Unable to do anything for her mother by herself, she makes her voice echo across the battlefield in a scream, calling for someone's help. Bulla's cry reaches Gogeta's ears, who at that moment engages in an increasingly fervent fight against Kusu, their energies colliding in the air. The battlefield becomes a scene of pure destruction, with the ground shattering and the sky filling with energy blasts. The combat is at such a high level that time seems to slow down. At the same moment he hears Bulla's voice, Gogeta prepares to help. Unfortunately, Kusu also hears it and quickly summons her magic staff to form a large energy barrier around the two, which makes it impossible for Gogeta to teleport. "You will only get out of here if you defeat me," she says. This irritates Gogeta, who can do nothing but continue the fight, this time with an even greater urgency to win. Gohan also hears his half-sister's desperate plea. When he thinks about going to help, Weinek reminds him of their fight by frantically spinning towards him and trying a kick which the beastly warrior dodges. After dodging, Gohan tries to go to Bulla and Bulma. Weinek doesn't allow it, moving at an almost instantaneous speed in front of him. "You interrupted me when I was going to destroy that android, so I will do the same with your rescue," says the angel. As Bulla struggles to react, her mother Bulma boldly charges at Rum, fueled by fierce persistence. Bulma's technological suit shines brightly, all its resources being used to confront the evil angel, pushing it to the limit. Bulma delivers a sequence of powerful energy blasts, each one skillfully blocked by Rum, who appears unfazed. Bulla watches with growing anguish. She knows her mother is risking everything to protect her, and recognizes the immense power inequality between Bulma and Rum. Despite the disparity in strength, Bulma continues to fight with all her ingenuity. Gogeta raises his ki in a way that begins to overpower Kusu's, this time coercing Daishinkan's firstborn daughter to the point that she can barely react to his attacks. Gogeta's punches and kicks inevitably break through Kusu's guard, who now has limited movement thanks to the shield she made to trap him, and therefore has few options other than forcing herself to maintain a direct confrontation. The Shinken warrior, motivated to end this quickly, no longer worries about saving energy, attacking her entire body with punches of titanic power. Bulla once again shouts for her mother to back off. Bulma refuses. She highlights that she created this costume precisely so that weaker beings can face stronger beings. If she can't use this to protect her own daughter, then it means her work was worthless. Rum, in turn, seems to have no desire to prolong that. She takes advantage of a gap in Bulma's attack and launches a wave of dark energy that hits the technological suit with great power. Bulma tries to resist, using the suit's shields and defenses to protect herself. The efforts end up being futile, as Rum's attack level is disproportionate. The costume goes into disrepair. Tiny cracks appear in the armor, and systems gradually begin to fail. The heat of the fight between Gogeta and Kusu continues to increase, the Saiyan exerting increasing pressure on the evil angel. The battlefield is a scene of total destruction, with craters and flames resulting from its energy explosions. Explosions of impact with tremendous force are generated from the strong blows that Gogeta hits throughout Kusu's body, making her less and less able to defend herself thanks to the damage and injuries acquired exponentially. Gogeta, knowing he doesn't have much time to save Bulma, rushes to finish the fight, growing his strength even more. "The time has come to end this," he announces, his eyes shining with tenacity. After gathering a vast collection of energy in one of his fists, the Saiyan focuses on a vital point to finally deliver his final punch, shattering Kusu's chest and back. She feels the crushing pressure of the blow and screams in frustration and pain as her barrier crumbles. "It's over," says the Shinken warrior. "Not yet," she opposes. Kusu quickly makes her magic staff appear in her hand, evoking the staff's power to go back in time a few seconds. And then, when Gogeta is about to punch her, Kusu dodges millimeters to the Saiyan's complete shock. Next, she aims at an opening left at the time of the punch to cross Gogeta's body using the magic staff. "I got you, Gogeta!" She smiles euphorically. The smile doesn't last long, because in the next second, Gogeta's body falls apart like a mirage, scaring Kusu. The scare is even greater when he appears behind her, once again crossing her body with his arm. With her fragilized voice and choking on the blood spilling from her mouth, Kusu asks what he did. Gogeta says that the moment he realized she went back in time, he used Hit's time skip to advance a few thousandths of a second in time to avoid the counterattack and also leave an after image in the present to distract her. You fought very well, but it's over, he says. Kusu doesn't give up. She uses her last strength to hold Gogeta's arm and begins to concentrate her energy very quickly. Daishinkan's eldest daughter says that if she dies, at least she will take him with her, and Gogeta better not try to escape because this explosion, if not contained, will spread throughout hell and kill his friends. Seeing that this isn't a bluff, and also not having time to react otherwise, all Gogeta can do is create a barrier around him and Kusu. A thousandth of a second later, Daishinkan's first daughter self-destructs, releasing overwhelming power, which ends up being contained in Gogeta's barrier, which disappears shortly afterwards. Bulma struggles with all her strength to stay upright. Despite this, she is clearly in trouble in the face of the relentless strength of an angel. Bulla, helplessly watching the fight, feels a lump in her throat because she can't do anything. Rum finally increases the vehemence of her attacks. She concentrates even more power into one last devastating blow, finally breaking through the last defenses of Bulma's suit. The dark energy completely surrounds Bulma, beginning to shatter the armor that protects her. Bulla screams in horror as the armor breaks apart due to the energy that surrounds it. Bulma's face is revealed. Her expression is sad as she looks at her daughter with watery eyes. She apologizes to Bulla for not being able to protect her until the end, but asks that her daughter survive no matter what. Before long, Bulma's body is consumed and disappears in an explosion. Bulla can't even scream. She just stares open-mouthed, intense tears streaming down her face. A funereal silence falls, except for the crackle of debris and smoke that hangs in the air. She was very brave, but in the end it was stupid to face me like that when she was so weak. Rum breaks the silence by praising and then criticizing the one she just killed. Afterwards, she looks at Bulla, telling her that she will be next. Bulla ignores everything the angel says, just staring in astonishment at the place where her mother disappeared from existence. Gogeta arrives next to her with a teleport. He apologizes, explaining that he had to contain Kusu's outburst and then heal for having received all that at point-blank range. Bulla also ignores Gogeta. She gets up with difficulty, her legs shaking and hatred burning in her heart. Bulla feels an overwhelming pain in her chest, an intense mix of grief and anger that begins to boil inside her. The sight of her mother being consumed by Rum's dark energy sets her heart on fire with relentless fury. Something starts to change. Bulla's aura flickers and grows, pulsing with an energy that intensifies by the second. Bulma's daughter's pain and fury turn into a scream of pure agony and rage. Her ki explodes in a wave of tremendous energy, lighting up the battlefield. Her hair stands up and begins to grow, stretching almost to the height of her knees, while a white and silver color surrounds them. Her skin takes on a reddish hue, and eyes take on a vibrant red glow. A bright and powerful aura radiates from her body, reflecting a strength that surpasses anything she has ever displayed before. Power emanates from her in waves, causing the ground to shake and the air to vibrate around her. The impetuosity of her transformation is palpable, a manifestation of the absolute power she now possesses. Bulla, Vegito's daughter, shows the world her Super Saiyan 5. "You're going to pay for this, Rum!" the Saiyan screams, her voice reverberating with newfound power and ravenous determination. Rum takes a step back, surprised and alarmed by the transformation of her opponent that she previously thought was finished. The Saiyan, now in her most powerful form, is an imposing and terrifying sight, a symbol of pure strength and indomitable will. She knows she has to fight to the end, not only for herself, but also for her mother's sacrifice. Beside her, Gogeta remembers that in the last few days of their training period, Bulla in a moment of extreme exertion, quickly showed this form by accident. He knew that if she manifested this power on the battlefield, he could rest assured. "I will leave this opponent in your hands," he says. "Thanks," she says. Gogeta realized that at this moment, with Bulla's power rising, the attention of someone living in the deepest zones of hell was drawn. He has fully awakened, the Shinken warrior comments aloud to himself. In the deepest layer of hell, he remains static, enveloped in a great evil aura. However, his attention is caught by the emergence of a great power that is familiar to him, the power of Bulla. The being consumed by darkness then takes flight, heading towards whatever catches his attention, with astronomical speed crossing the infernal layers. Against him comes Gogeta, who left the battlefield as soon as he noticed his complete awakening.